Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. Once again, we are seeing North American stock futures pointing to solid gains right across the board. Comes on the back of nice performance on Monday. We saw the Dow recording its third highest point gain ever, 1,600 plus points to the upside for the Dow. Obviously on the back of positive coronavirus related news. We're coming into more of that this morning, with China reporting no new deaths in the country in the past 24 hours for the first time since January. Both Italy and Spain coming out saying their numbers are continuing to drop steadily as well, both on the confirmed cases side and deaths in the country. So nice look for stocks right across the board so far this morning. We had a big run up yesterday. Obviously, the S&P 500, 7% to the upside, back to March 13 levels on the S&P today. Individually this morning, travel-related names moving around, especially the cruise lines. CCL leading that group to the upside. We also had NEO higher in the pre-market after the electric car maker reported solid delivery numbers for last month. It is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American stock futures right across the board. Look at this. Really nice gains to start the morning. S&P 500, 3.3%. The Dow's up more than 3.5%. The NASDAQ following suit. TSX here in Toronto, 1.5% gain, or pointing to a 1.5% gain, I should say. Brazil open already, 6.5% to the upside. Crude oil back to about 2%. We were up more than 3% when I sat down this morning. Came all the way into about 1.5%, so now moving back to the upside. Obviously, a nice look for gold at the bottom there as well, 0.7% in positive territory. Busy Tuesday, guys. Lots to get to this morning. Cruise line's going to be interesting today. Worth mentioning, we have Rahim Alani coming by at 11:40, usually 11:20. We've shifted that to 11:40 now. We'll talk about some Canadian names, especially on the retail side of things that have been hurt, obviously, with the shutdown. But lots to get to. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Canadian names, Canadian market moving heavily to the upside. I mean, you've talked about it. The market moving up here, you can see the massive move we had through that key level on the ES 2630. I mean, in play within maybe today, not today, but within days, is that 50% retracement to around that 2800 mark. So look, you can call bottom in or not, whatever you want here, but the bottom line is you got markets moving up, you're getting massive recoveries, and then we also see some massive profits being made throughout the company. And when you look over here, you're going to see Germany number one. Someone pulled 70,000 out of Europe here, trading in Germany. Over in the Amex, NYSE American, 39,000 yesterday was a top trader in that market. London 26, New York 24, CME 17. Bigger story, some big names moving right now. Sean, you got some Carnival. 1220 was a break there, on the run for like 3 days in a row now.
Yeah, I'm already really huge here, guys. We're already long 1206, a couple hundred shares here. It's at 1234, so nice way to start the day. We're absolutely monstrous. Check us out on Twitter, guys. I've been tweeting out this chart. I talked about it in the morning. Check out this big buy imbalance here, 3.25 million shares. We talked about that in the morning as well. So hopefully you're on it. Look at this, guys. CCL, this is how you trade. 1206 long. And we still have 70%, 80% of our trade just ding, 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 taking out little by little. Now at 1240. So this may already be the trade of the day, and it hasn't even opened the markets yet, Brendan.
Yeah, nice look there. Saudi investment fund putting a big chunk of change to work as far as CCL is concerned. We'll get to that coming up in a few seconds here. There's Arun. Yeah, we're going to be joined by Arun remotely today to talk a little bit about the NASDAQ futures and how things are shaping up as far as the morning goes for the NASDAQ. Arun, a nice looking chart here, obviously, that you sent us this morning. We were kind of struggling with 8,000 yesterday in the afternoon, late in the day. What are you looking at today?
Yeah, Brendan, you know what, this rally from yesterday afternoon and today this morning, it's taken out some big long-term levels. So you know what, that 8130 that I gave you guys last week, that one's gone now. So I'm looking upside. So given that we're looking upside, I've already got along here about 82.56 is my entry pre-market. Now we're trading out of 82.71. That chart I sent, that was from about 40 minutes ago. So it's a little outdated as the market starts to rally a little bit. So I am looking to the upside. My downside closest level I've got is 81.65 as the first support level I'm going to work with. This entry here, I am putting up a big risk on this one. It is a smaller position because of almost nearly 90 points actually I'm putting up in risk. Because of what the upside is, I'm willing to take that shot, right? So 81.65 is the first level I'm looking at. And in terms of support after that, we got 80.45 and 79.45. So you're looking almost 100 points in between almost every level. And to the upside, I really don't have a resistance. So let's just see how this one goes.
As far as the upside goes, I wanted to ask you, I mean, there's a lot of room here to go, obviously, after the big move down. So if we do get one of those days where we start, kind of not filling a gap, but moving in a trending fashion to the upside, what do we look at here as far as upside targets even?
Okay, so now, since that 81.30 was my largest level I had before this move from yesterday afternoon, today actually, that took it out, we're starting to come into some bigger resistance levels in terms of the long-term picture, right? So as soon as we get into that 83.50 area, between 83.50 and 85.85, I'm gonna look for some resistance as there is some multi-day gaps and going back to early March that I do want to keep an eye on. If you actually take a look at the daily, which I did not send you guys, but you guys can do it on your own. If you guys look at the daily, there is some resistance from late February or from support from late February and resistance from early March. And we're going to hit that wedge right in between. So that's about 200 points in between. There's going to be some, it'll be a slow trek through there, I would think. Find some resistance there as the next point, but that's still another 80 points away. So we have at least we have 80 points before we can get into the first level of long-term resistance. And then from there, I would just keep a very close stop on how we play this, because keep in mind, even if we hit 83.50, the closest long-term level I have after that is 85.85, which is 200 plus points away, right? So you do have to be very close with your stops once you get into that area. Because
the move down was so violent, obviously, and happened so quickly, obviously, there wasn't a lot of liquidity on the way down. How much do you pay attention to how things are moving on the way back up then as we move back through those levels that were taken out on the way down with such low liquidity? If we see that, volatility coming back into the market on the way back up, is that a good sign for you, or do you want to see it more controlled?
Well, volatility is a great thing for me, right? As traders, volatility is the greatest thing we can have. In terms of investing, obviously not, it makes you a little uncomfortable as an investor. For me, I'd rather have more volatility so I can actually trade in between, because if the market gets into a resistance level and it decides to slowly make its way through, that means your possible entry points for that day, if you're trading on an intraday basis, could be maybe you may have one or two, and if you miss that one, you're going to be sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing for the rest of the day. Versus volatility gives you, if you miss one, you might get a second chance to get in. As traders, you want that volatility so we can get multiple entries. Hey, you know what? It's great to bank some profit too instead of having to hold a long-term position. When I mean long-term as traders, it could be a few hours. For me, at least, long-term is throughout the day, right? So volatility is always a great thing. So if we get into those areas, I'm hoping for, we get up there, we hit some resistance, we fall back, then we grab some support, minor small-term support, and then we just bounce around. That's great because I can play in between that. Now, if we just grind up slowly, that means I got to be much more delicate with how I position my risk. Everything has to be right and perfect, so that I don't make any mistakes. And if I make a mistake, I won't have a second chance to get in. So volatility is the way to go, and hopefully that's what we get.
And that obviously emphasizes the importance of being able to, put a trade on and manage it in multiple different ways throughout the session. So great stuff, Arun. We'll let you get back to it. Appreciate your time, and good luck, obviously, today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brendan.
There we go, guys. A little bit of a look at the NASDAQ futures. We'll have obviously some key levels to work off throughout the session this morning as things progress. Lots of individual names moving around in the pre-market here. Let's get right to it. I want to jump into NIO first off. NIO reporting, NIO, that is, electric car maker, reporting a 116.8, to be exact, % increase as far as monthly deliveries go for the month of March. 1,533 vehicles delivered in the month of of March. They also reported higher first quarter deliveries as well, guys. So a nice look here to start the day for NIO shares.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. 275. Which we're trading just above right now, was a pretty good level here. You go all the way back into December. You did have a gap up late last year when it bounced through that big time breakout. Since we've traveled below, it's been minor resistance, not too big, but it is worth noting. If we can hold that, it's going to look pretty good off of the open. Normally don't love trades pre-market, but you know, with 1 million shares done and the relative liquidity that you see in something like NIO and that level right there, you can take a quick shot there thinking that we can get higher. It's up 12%, so I want to run with that stop a little bit. Just make sure you don't get too digged in. It wouldn't be crazy to see one of those like morning sell-offs in the market when everything is up so much in a couple of days, and then maybe find some bottoms. So you can take one crack at it, I think. I already have one position on. We'll get to that small cap in a second, but NIO is sort of worth a look here at 275.
Yeah, I don't mind NIO. It's a good look. It's a $2 stock, so fun to trade those names. Obviously, I've been pumping CCL's tires here all morning. We're in that one, and already quite big there, but we'll talk about that when you get there. Look, NIO here, let's have a quick look on the daily chart. Neil just talked about that a little bit. If we look at the daily, it's beat down. I liked it actually at 5. Remember, they were having some issues there with some funding. We got all the way up to 580 there. These were these crazy days where they said they had $1 billion plus coming from some Chinese investment. The government is going to support this company. It's quite clear that's going to be the case. 228 is the bottom, 214-ish. So as an investor, I do like this range right now. As a day trader, yeah, I mean, we got to get above this 280. I'd like to see it above 3 before I get too involved in this name. But NIO on the radar also has if I can find it, a buy in balance right now as well. NIO, 925,000 shares to buy. Not like my boy up here, CCL, but NIO, a decent amount of buying on the open expected, Brendan.
All right, guys, might as well talk about Tesla here as well. Bloomberg reporting that they are nearing the debut of a longer range China-made Model 3. So nice look once again. Here we go, off to the races for Tesla, gapping up even higher, second day in a row.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about that 530 was the price that we're looking for, and that gap up, the breakout at 510 to 513, where we liked it long. It couldn't quite get there yesterday, ran into some resistance. Now we're going to gap up above that level. So, 530 sort of becomes a key one on a retracement. If it gets any deeper than that, I'm jumping right back to that 510, 513 area, just on the off chance. I do like that level. So look for that 530, maybe even right off of the open. Certainly Tesla, a very, very tight range in the pre-market here, so that's sort of worth noting, hanging out 4 or 5% to the upside. Just note here, actually just jumped into that NIO there, got some at 79. I talked about that 275 area. I'm probably just going to work into it at every single level in front, just with a tight stop at 2075. You could get stopped out pre-market on something like that, but that's fine. It's really only a couple of cents worth risk, and then you can wait that one out. So into that NIO there, and we'll get to DTTW in a second. Tesla on a retracement, I'm really liking at 513 to 510, of course, and we're looking at 530 as the first stop.
Yeah, you see Tesla's chart yesterday here. There was a big dip down in the morning, putting it down to 496. Wow, before exploding to 520, and then it kind of just hung out at that 510 range, like we were talking about there. With this high here, 513, finally gets broken in the afternoon. We saw that crazy run that happened, 511 up to 518, and then boom goes the dynamite up here to 541. Just look to see if it takes off the top. I mean, that's basically the kind of the simple play here for Tesla. 541, 542 as a long. That'll probably break. Look, we still have 17 minutes to go. So Tesla probably breaks this high. If not, yeah, look for 535. But it's a pretty tight range for this $500 stock. It's only $5 right now.
All right, guys, let's talk. Sean, I'll come right back to here with CCL. We'll talk travel and leisure stocks as a group moving significantly higher. CCL, the one in focus, though, after a Saudi investment fund reportedly took an 8.2% stake in the company conveniently yesterday, getting some pretty good prices, I guess. So a nice 20+% jump here for CCL, Sean.
Yeah, no, and we're in it right now. So you could see CCL yesterday. I mean, it was super aggressive. We hammered it yesterday. It was an absolutely great trade. We actually got out near this very top after getting long at about $10 yesterday. Now you're going to see today, look, CCL up another 20%. So yeah, the bulls are running, that's for sure. And is the bottom in on this name? Most likely. We got as low as, I don't know what it was, $7, $8, $9. You could see CCL. This is what I did. It just kept resisting 1205. As soon as 1205 broke, I just punched long here 1206, and again took some out 09s, and then almost all of it. We have less than 50% left out in the 30s. So we're already hitting home runs on Carnival Cruise Line. Let's see if we can't hold this. Like I said yesterday, you had the market open up here about 9:30, and then we went on a run about 10 o'clock. So is this still possible again today? 9:18 yesterday, up to 10:18 or so. Do we have another dollar run in CCL? I hope so. If we look at a daily chart, though, we'll take it that quickly just for you guys. This is kind of 17. Like I said, here's 7, which is the bottom. We got to get above this little hump right here, which is 13.25. Would be fantastic to do that today, as we're making new highs right now. But yeah, 13.35, still a dollar away. That's kind of going to be my target. I'm going to be looking to take on this trade at least 50 cents. I mean, we're long at 12.06 right now, so that's already a big, huge trade.
Yeah, this is actually when it just pulled back a few minutes ago there, it was 12.20 was the number. I'll take you back to April 1st. You can see that was a pre-market bottom there and a massive pivot point. We crushed it to the downside there. $3 on the session when 12.20 broke. You can see the previous session it actually come from 14.50. So that particular price, this 12.20 area, lots of room up and downside, which gives conviction to the hold, and actually gives you an opportunity to jump in even if you've missed the initial move. You can have a tighter stop at that 12.20 mark right around here.
In that same kind of category, guys, we'll talk about the airlines here moving around in the pre-market once again today. Both Delta and Southwest, we mentioned a little bit yesterday after Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway declared that they had sold a bunch of shares in both of those. There was also a press conference where the head of the flight attendant union in the U.S. Made some comments yesterday about discontinuing leisure travel altogether for the time being because so many flight attendants, more than 100 flight attendants now in the U.S. have contracted COVID-19. So DAL, whatever you guys want to look at here, DAL, Love, BA, even another one that we can have a look at with some separate news about some production being halted once again, this time in South Carolina. But all the airlines back to the upside once again today.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Delta and to UAL in just a quick second here. Just want to note, you guys are saying it in the chat, Luckin just halted code T1 here. It's news pending, so let's look out for that. It is halted trading, just happened a couple of minutes ago. So we're going to watch Luckin to see what does come from that. But you want to talk about the airlines. I'll jump in first to Delta. Of course, we know Berkshire taking off their position in Delta. They were under pressure yesterday, up 13.5%. Big 2380 level that we've already gone through and bounced above it. This is very, very similar to what we're looking at with a lot of names here today, where you basically, just like the ES, have gone through that key futures level, that 2630, and then run past it. Same thing happening in Delta, just bouncing off 25 even. I'm probably going to take a shot at this one short through 25 into that 24, 23, 80 area. You're up 13%. I think one of those little pullback plays, this might be a better place to express that trade, something like a Delta relative in the space, as opposed to maybe an American Airlines, which, we'll get to that one just here. UAL's up more, granted, but it's got a massive, massive wall here at 27. So I think this one is not quite as attractive of a short from a level that I like. So I'm going to have a look at Delta at 25 because it's almost right at that pressure point where it could take it out off the open and give you a quick scalp trade at worst, and certainly there's opportunity for more, whereas UAL would actually have to travel over $1 before triggering that level break at 27 that I would like. So of the two, if I'm going to play the short, it's going to end up being in Delta.
I don't know. I'm still loving this Carnival Cruise Lines. AAL, though, we can have a look at that quickly. This is a NASDAQ stock, American Airlines. You're going to see it up as well. And I guess we talked about Uncle Warren. You don't want to be selling stock when you're going to be up 15, 20% the very next day. But you can see right here, nice little move up, bouncing off that 11 spot. So look for 11 to become a pivot here in AAL. And we'll just wait to see. It's making a bottom here, though, 90s. So it's come down. This is from 8 850 in the pre-market, down to 920, 1090, 1090, up to 1110, back down to 1090, up and back. So we're making a little bit of a formation here. If we go back to see what it did yesterday, again, that big run that happened in a lot of these, well, this is an airline, but the travel sector happens right here. 913 all the way up to 988 yesterday, and now you're seeing an explosion to the top side. And you want to talk about explosion? Here goes CCL, guys. So we still are long, so let's hit the floss and the confetti. We're still long here at 12:05. So we just take some out there, 12:36, and bang, there it is, 12:45. These little ticks here is where we're getting out. So I have some orders layered here because, guys, we do have this big, huge buy imbalance right now, 3.7 million shares. So we're running Carnival all the way up. I told you I don't normally take too much risk in the pre-market. This one just looked too easy because I had 12 as a bottom. So boom, right up there, a quick little 39-cent winner to start the day, and we still got 40%, guys.
So here, guys, let's shift over to the energy group. We mentioned crude oil had kind of come off the highs from the pre-market, but still up nicely on the session. So I want to mention XOM here, guys, was up more than 5% in the pre-market. The company said aftermarket yesterday it's going to cut spending going forward by as much as 30%. There was also APA and Halliburton moving higher this morning as the Canadian and U.S. governments talking about possible import tariffs on Saudi and Russian oil. Nothing obviously has happened yet, but XOM, guys, coming in a little bit here with the price for oil.
It is, but 42 is a decent support level on XOM, and you can see it's actually been a pretty robust bounce off of this 30 area on the way back up. There's not a major red day. I mean, there was one a couple of sessions ago, but it's been a pretty strong move to the upside. Of course, remember, we had that meeting, the conference call meeting, the OPEC members. That's going to come through at the end of the week here, and I think everyone's looking forward to see what happens out of that. But XOM is, sort of along with Chevron, one of the stronger names that people are more comfortable with, and I think that gives you some cover in case there's any kind of crazy moves. Delta here, guys, just got triggered in 25 broke. So we just got that short. We talked about it. Preferring that retracement play in the airlines there. 95s we got to the short side in Delta. But I think, at 42, I love that support area. I'm going to go manage this Delta trade, see if we make that money.
XOM, yeah, we love the oil money here. I'll be trading XOM today. Again, we hammered that yesterday and was one of our better stocks. So I just get out some here at 31 and then 28. We're going to hold the rest of CCL. If it does come back down into 12, then that will be where we get out. We'll wait to see what this market on balance open does do. But XOM, just another name, guys, 42 bucks. Yeah, $43, sorry, not 42. You break above this, let's go. Oil right now up 1% today. So XOM's up 6. Okay. We did have Kevin O'Leary on last week today. I think, was it last week, Tuesday or Wednesday? We had him on and I asked him directly about XOM and the oil market, and he liked it. And look where it's done since then. Here's the daily chart on XOM. And this is the kind of the gap that we're talking about filling here. 43 all the way to 48. That is going to happen. It's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. I love the move that they did there, cutting expenses by 30%. So nothing wrong with that one, chewing the fat there a little bit. 30 bucks as a bottom, wow, all the way up to 43. So we were only back here last week. So a great move up for XOM. And there goes CCL back to the upside as well. So we got some out there at 28. Looks like it might have been a mistake as we're back into 32. Only 7 minutes left, and we'll see how big this one can get.
All right, I want to jump down to Kraft Heinz here, guys. We were mentioning some of the food names over the past couple of weeks moving higher because of higher demand, obviously. Slack Technologies, before we get there though, Slack Technologies, we talked about a $600 million debt raise yesterday. They've increased that now to $750 million, so that's worth mentioning. But Kraft Heinz is said to be expecting a rise in first quarter sales, pointing to higher demand because of the coronavirus outbreak, obviously. Nice look here in the pre-market, guys, still up about 4.5% for KHC. What do we do with this one?
Tight pre-market range. I mean, there was a trade that we used to do, Brennan, and there was that sort of pre-market range break type trade and more stable type of names. And you're up 5% here looking at 27.15. And then you look at the bottom end of that range, about 20 cents lower. It is relatively light volume, only 200,000 shares. That's the first strike for me on that one. The next look here would be, you can go to the daily chart. There's going to be a little bit of resistance here when you get up close to 28. And this was a chop area between 27.40, 27.50 on the way down. So there was a lot of consolidation here. I think that's going to make it look, it's not bad upside to be able to take 20, 30 cents on a scalp if we break to the upside on Kraft Heinz. I just don't know that you're necessarily getting too much more than that on that type of trade. I think there'll be some bigger, higher flyer names there. I think the airlines are going to move. We already can see the Carnival Cruises of the world. They're moving as well. You can also look at some of these. You guys are looking at some penny stocks that are moving. Tops. NEO, I think, is going to be a good one today. I just don't know that KHC is going to fit there for the stocks to trade for me.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at KHC myself, but I do know that, yeah, in this space, love that. I did see a question about Walmart. Love Walmart as well today, making all-time highs. And this is where I put my money in Walmart the last couple weeks. And yeah, it's definitely paid off here. Walmart 127.50, I believe, is the all-time high. I'm in this name personally at about $100. So Walmart, wow, what a runner. But without any further ado, the lady to my left, Valeria, what you got?
Hello everyone and welcome. I hope you're having a great day and thank you for joining us. I remind you guys that we're a live trading show. All the trades guys do are real. Brandon has the latest updates from the financial world and of course, truly yours, Chat Maestro, always on the chat. So guys, feel free to ask us questions, leave comments. You can help us, and if you know the right answer, you can keep communicating as well. And of course, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe trading community, and support the community and subscribe for our channel. Just 5 minutes until the opening bell. Are you ready? Back to traders.
We are definitely ready. One more to mention, guys. CODX, big mover yesterday. They finally got emergency FDA approval for their COVID-19 test yesterday. Big move to the upside. Having a look at this one today, down 5%. Decent level in front of $10 even here if you're looking at Co-Diagnostics once again, guys.
Here we go, hit the arrow down there on that stock. Yeah, I traded that yesterday without much success, but we'll trade Codex today if it does happen. You mentioned being prepared. I feel pretty unprepared, to be honest with you. I've only been looking at CCL. We've been riding this one all the way to the top side. The market's booming here, so sorry if you got left behind, but this market is now rocking and rolling. I see some comments there about spider puts. I mean, unless this market does fade back in, I don't know. I think the bottom's in, but we'll see. Anything could happen here. It's all about the cases, the COVID. So, most people thought that this market was dropping based on that. So as you see, it's rebounding now as you get some better talk here on New York and flattening the curve. And Brendan already said no new cases in China now. So that's big fireworks for that. So I'm a little nervous if you are short spiders, but again, that doesn't mean that we can't fall 2,000 points randomly even today. So buckle up every day, guys.
Yeah, absolutely buckle up. And there's some small cap names I want to get to very quickly here. DPW. This one is on the Amex, NYSE ARCA, another gap up retracement play. You go to the daily chart, you see a nice level that we can work from immediately at a buck 60 or so. So we work off of that. You do get consolidation lower, which is exactly what we're looking for. Once it dips below 140 and holds, start working into the position here. Got ourselves a low 130 price. I would have liked 135, 138, something up in here. We couldn't get it. Starting to slide to the downside. When it breaks 125, that's when we'll start getting out. 80 cents is where we were yesterday, so you'll top to bottom, 50% move there is going to give you about $1.20 or so. So it's not too much further than I think it'll go. I also want to talk about NEO. Sean mentioned the buy imbalance on this one, of course, and the deliveries were good. I like that level in front of 275. I had a very, very tight stop as we just worked into position at 78.5. So it's working towards the top end. 82 is the actual high. If we can break that, maybe make a run to 3 even, that should be a good trade as well. So got long in NEO, DPW short side. I took a third out of that delta position, and I will work back into more of it. 25, like 40 or so. Looks like that area. I don't want to get too frisky with this one. I feel like if the market's going to break to the upside, I don't want to get run over. Very, very tight. Make sure you stick to your stops, especially off the open. Those trades haven't been the best holding in the first 30 seconds or so. So want to make sure we're taking profits and sticking to our rules.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, is stick to your rules. So we do have only a minute and a bit left. Valeria will be on the bell as I volunteered her for that today. So she'll be there in a couple seconds ringing that bell for us with only a minute to go. But yeah, I'm still stuck on this CCL. Juan is on the bell. That's a downgrade. That's a downgrade. Hey, Valeria. Hey, how's it going?
That's cold,
hey, what's
Sean.
up, Juan? How's it going, buddy? We only have 50 seconds now.
Cold blood.
Juan, yeah. the head of everything around here. Architect, IT, software, technology, everything, guys. Juan, a great friend of mine as well. So thank you for doing that today, Juan. We do only have 30 seconds to go. Look, Carnival's going to go upside here. Microsoft, wow, what a runner that was yesterday. We traded that one amazingly for you on the show yesterday, but we are going to wait to see Microsoft pulling back a little bit. We're up 2.5% right now, and just pulling back through 170. The high is this 170.50. Let's see if we get some crazy action here off the open.
Yeah,
with
just
only
about 10 seconds ago here, Sean.
Yeah.
And, I want to say we didn't get to Macy's at all, guys. 625 being taken out. Macy's is up 12%. Lots of big-time runners, but the countdown is on. Market is about to open. Got positions on 3, 2, and 1. Ring that bell, Juan. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, thanks, Juan, buddy. All right, let's get going here. CCL, we're going to wait to see. Looks like it is open, pulling back a little bit. We are at 1230, 1235 right now on CCL. So we're going to wait to see how far this one wants to pull back off that big buy.
We're already going to floss it off in Delta. We just took some shares out there at 24.56. So we get that break at 25. Gave that one to you guys. A couple of legs out already. We now put in a top end range here of 25.25. I'm sliding my stop up to there. I'm reloading if we get one shot at this. I'll reload for less shares though, because opening ranges have been tricky. 25.25 is that spot.
Disney 105 right now. Looks like that could break as well. You got to be really careful though, because like we always talk about it, at the open you do get some crazy runners sometimes. So let's see what happens here. I don't even think Disney's open yet, to be honest with you. But there goes CCL, big time winner, over 1250 now. So big move happening in CCL. We take this one to the bank, guys. I hope you enjoyed this trade. Back over 1250. We're long at 1206 from the pre-market. Let's go.
And there we go, DTTW as well. We'll keep the fireworks going on this one. What a great start to the day here. Immediately giving you that little flush into 120, so you quickly get that 10% move that we're looking for. A buck is the ultimate target. I don't think we get back to yesterday. Remember that 50% retrace is literally right here at a $1.20, so you want to take some profit. Reload on Delta. We got this one through 25, so we pick it up in front of 25.25.
Oh,
it just comes right back down here. I'm looking for it to retest those pre-market bottoms. Worth noting, the futures here off the open, not doing a heck of a lot. We bounced off of 8,300 on the NASDAQ there, so let's watch that level closely to the upside.
Yeah, and CCL, guys, celebrate good times once again on CCL. We are now 70 pennies in the money, all the way up to 1270. Right now, 1275, 1280, 1281, 1283. Just keeps on ripping up here. Congratulations, anybody long with me on CCL. What a day to be alive here. The market rallying up. We're up 4% again off of a monster day yesterday. Let's just keep this train rolling, guys. Wow.
And we get another leg out there, Delta. We just worked back in at 25, back in at 24, 26. Again, I'm going to be reloading in front of 25, 25. I'm going to be maintaining that little core position that we have for the last third of these shares to see if we can't test 24 even. Again, it was just a matter of preference. We liked Delta as opposed to, you know, whether we looked at American Airlines or whether you wanted to look at any of the other names in terms of flush. And here goes AAL through the top. So you pick on the relative weakness within the space for short and don't force things, because there's American Airlines through 11, through its pre-market high.
Yeah, no, I love American Airlines. That was the one that I looked at there for sure. But Disney's falling down. We'll get out at 104. It did open up, obviously opened up poorly there on Disney, but CCL, we're almost out of all of that. What you got, Brendan?
Yeah, and another one coming back in a little bit here, guys. Norwegian, NCLH in New York, still up 21%, but it tagged that 20 or 1275 area up here at the top. Look at this, right back down, just broke through that last little support area in the pre-market. Some of these cruise lines coming back to the downside, guys.
Yeah, I'm actually going to consider moving my stop. After I see that move in AAL, I'm just going to take off the last of these Delta shares at 25 even on that little break. And look, I see 20% to the upside on American. I see a parabolic start to a move here, and we've already taken profit on Delta. So look, I'm not going to sit here look a gift horse mouth. It's relatively weak. We can jump back into it when the waters look a little bit better. The futures are coming in here, so we are falling. I think there's an opportunity for another move, but let's see it hold below this 25 area. We still got that DPW short, which is working well for us. I think there's going to be lots of opportunity in some names here, and one we didn't even talk about, which was Zoom, continues to be weak. flushing through 115 now, so this keeps getting crushed every day. It was down before we even came in here. 115 getting absolutely smoked right here. Looks like it's going to be SSR, so can't hit that bid, I don't know, on Zoom, or maybe I just missed.
168, yeah, just looking here at what's happening here with Microsoft. We are long right here, 169.13 as I look. And there it is, yeah, Carnival pulls back, but now going back to the upside. We're going to drop this if it does break down below 168.60, so we'll wait to see on Microsoft here as the futures make a nice little move down. We'll see if they can recover top side here. Microsoft may be overbought, man. I mean, yesterday we were up huge. Most of these names were up 7, 8, 9, 10% yesterday, so maybe the right thing to do is stay on some of these cruise lines. But we are long Microsoft right now, 169.13, so it's just right here. That's right where we're at right now, Microsoft 169.13. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to trek in on Tesla here, basically a $10 range top to bottom, in through that 540. So, it's not getting to those key levels that I like. We'll check back in, see if it tests 530 even or dips any lower than that. We are sliding just a little bit in the overall market, so I'm going to watch closely what happens to that delta if we get another entry point into this stock, because it's something I like to the short. But here we go. AAL ran to the upside. American, I want to see what happens if Delta tests some of those top levels I was looking at, 25.25. If it fails there and dips back below without reaching that price, I think it's going to be another short. The last position, and we only have 20% left, has been that DPW. We got that one in, letting you guys know all about this one. There was still a chance to get in at 130 before the open, but here is the flush right now. And again, I talked about the 50% retrace being at $1.20, so you got to be relatively happy with a move down to 114. If you can take 20 cents on a $1.30 stock, fantastic. Sometimes I think you can get more, but in this play, I'm very happy with that. Going to move on to some Codex.
Yeah, Codex is definitely a good one. Weed Batman in the building here. I can see Tilray moving around a little bit here. AAL at 11.25 now. Microsoft all the way down to 168.50. So we take a 30-cent hit on Microsoft there. Like I said, I'm not going to be putting on any big positions until we get a couple more minutes in. Maybe even right now. It's 9:36. So time is flying here, and Microsoft's flying to the downside. Like we said, this was probably a little overdone here the last couple days, all the way up. Probably the same thing happening right now in Apple, if anybody's looking at that one. Yeah, bouncing off that 270, like we said, all the way down here to 266, 267. So watch out for Apple to head south side, just like it's doing right now, giving back some of these gains. Look, we're still at 3%.
That's the thing, right, Sean? You can't take profit when you go long if you don't sell it, right? So certainly, we anticipated and we talked about the chance that there could be some selling off of the open. I'm looking at the NASDAQ, or the NASDAQ falling about 60 handles or so right now. The ES, worth noting, is still above that 27.30 mark. We're well above some of those nice ranges and key prices. Delta, that was the stock that I've been watching closely. It did get right into that 25.45. Hasn't broken out that pre-market top. That's going to be the next test for me. Remember, this is why I took it off at 25. I saw the run happening. The futures were coming down here. I saw the run happening in American. I like the Delta short, but you take it off and look for a re-entry point. That's going to be it testing this pre-market top. If it fails here, we're going to jump back into the short aggressively here on Delta, up 14%. Feels like it'll be a good opportunity to the short side.
Okay, we just took Apple long there. You might have saw that fly in, 268.10 right now. We'll see what's going to happen here. We just took some out 25. We're going to go to the top side here, hopefully, back with Apple. But again, it's just a futures play, right? If the futures don't go, then Apple won't as well. But we're up 2.6%. What did we like in this one? Just taking this 268 again. A big crash down. Made a little bit of a bottom here around 267.50. Let's see if we can't climb back into 268.50 or so. We're just trying to scalp this one quickly for a long, because it looks like right now the shorts are in charge. You can see the futures falling down right here, guys.
Yeah, and I just saw a bit of a failure in Delta there, so I just jumped back in, starting at 25.29. Gonna look at that high as being my out, but also looking at this Codex. A little sleepier than I thought, but look, it's a slight move down. It is trying to pull back through this nice 980 area that you saw right at the open. Was a nice little flush. So that's going to be the first level that we work off of here on Codex. Won't get too aggressive. It hasn't even hit the 1 million share mark, and it does usually a little bit more than that while it's been in play. So we'll start very light here in front of 980 with a very tight stop, only risking 5-10 cents plus slippage, and then see if we can't work into something bigger and better if we get a better price action on Codex.
Yeah, we're just slipping some out here on CCL as well for the 53s here. We're going to take that out if it gets it to us. There we go. Out some more of CCL here in the 50s. We're holding above, there we go, I was just going to say we're holding above 50, but didn't look like for long, so we just slipped some out there, and that was a good one. So we remain long now. Apple and CCL, both long, but it looks like CCL is coming back to the downside. Look at this, man. The market is giving it all up. Right, not all of it. We're still up 3%, but giving up some of these gains. What's up, Brandon?
Guys, Alpha Protect, the face mask maker, APT to the downside here, 12%, just approaching day lows. Watch this 13 level. We got down there right off the open. If that breaks, does have some room still for APT to the downside.
Alpha Protect.
To the downside as well. We've been talking about this delta. We got that test of the upside. We explained the trade exactly what we wanted here. We got 24, 25, 29 in. It broke 25. We get some out there for the quick, 35-cent scalp. Now looking for the rest. The bottom on that move was 24.50 or so. I am perfectly happy taking it out in front. These are scalp type trades off that level. We're getting plenty of opportunity to get in and out. We just took 35 cents. We'll jump in and we'll take 70 cents on the second half there. We'll rinse and repeat as many times as we can. You're looking for a test at some point of 24 even if we continue a fall. It's all about the relative weakness in this name versus the space. We only got that entry point because American decided to make a run there, so we took off the original short and got back in at a better price. Got to stay nimble when you got some volatility on.
Yeah, exactly. Good call on that one. Okay, here comes CCL right back. So thank God we're out of this one. We have very small amount of shares left. Look at this big crack down here on CCL. I did want to look at XOM as well in a minute, but here goes Carnival Cruise right back to the bottom. Who knows what we can do here? But if we could take out to the backside again, maybe 12. There we go. I was going to say 12.30. We just took that. That might be a decent long here, but you're still going to have to be around $12. So you're going to have to make sure that you're able to take the profit out and hold if something does go against you here on CCL. But right now it looks like it's bouncing around. If it comes back to this 12.06, we'll load up. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we did crash all the way down to 12.10 there? Okay, so let's put some bids in case that happens again.
Yeah, I mean, you had that 12.10 move. So what I like when it bounces in front of that 12 even is to then play the other 12.20 level that I like. So there's a couple ways you can do that. I like your play there, waiting for the best absolute price. I think if you want to scalp a trade there, you can risk about 10 cents like I'm trying to do at that 20 level and then take 30s long. So I was just about to say that, but I did take the trade there at 12.30. Again, that's more of a scalp play because I think you really want to give it down to the bottom to make sure you can hold for the top end of the range, but not a bad opportunity there to use a previous key level that we went over in the pre-market there to scalp 10 cents out on the first half, risking 10, see if you can't get 20 to 25 on the second half. So it's done 32 million shares. There's going to be a million ways that you can play some of these names in the market when you have volume and volatility like that. But also we have direct market access, which certainly helps it out.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And looking at XOM now, still up this 5%. We'll wait to see what this wants to do. I think it needs to retake. We just get past this little drop here. So 42.60 or so is a decent spot to think about a long here on XOM, in my opinion. What's up, Brendan?
Another one showing some strength, guys. Walgreens, WBA here up almost looks like 4%, or we almost got to 4% there. Back above $44. They're expanding their drive-through COVID-19 testing centers to 15 additional states. Did note CVS also showing some strength at this point, guys.
CVS, okay, good one. Yeah, the pharmaceutical space there, obviously a drugstore there. CVS made some nice moves last year, so that's going to be a good one. Microsoft 168.58, just seeing about that. The market looks like it wants to come back. So we've already lost one time on Microsoft. Let's see what happens again here. 168.58. Again, this is where we try to protect that long, and then it dropped off. So I'd like to see it retake this bottom here, which is that 168.50. If that can happen, obviously it's a nice little run from 167 bottom. We don't have the bottom, unfortunately, but we could go long again. 168.60 on Microsoft, as well as XOM looking for that break as well.
So a little bit of pain for people here if you're long in the Slack. Little fall off here off a cliff at 24.20 right at the open. It's trying to make any kind of a bottom at 23.40, but it's already it's looking like a bit of a pullback. This was a double top that got made at 30 that we're pulling back away from. But if you look in the daily chart below this 24 we are right now, that's a heavy chop area, but it's a deep one. It's a $3 or $4 area price range to the downside here in Slack, which, you know, it had a nice bounce off 15, but it ran into an absolute wall and is headed back southbound. So I'm looking at that upside as a place where maybe we're going to work some shorts back to 24. So that's going to be the play there. I'll jump you over to Codex. I talked about that first shot that we would take in it in front of that 980. We grabbed some shares at 971.5. Now sliding down towards that opening range low. That's 950. We'll take off about 20 cents for a third of it if we can get it, and then run the rest past that low into the pre-market low, hopefully. Brendan, what do you got?
Another one related to the vaccine group there. INO, Inovio Pharmaceuticals here, up 5.5%. Just got to pull back below $9. $9 about here on decent volume. So sellers stepped up, pushed this thing back below 9. Looks like it might want to continue back to the downside as well, guys.
All right, we did get triggered into our XOM here. So like I said, we were hoping that it would, you know, cover all this. It did exactly that. We get in here 67, out 70, small, just capturing some profits there, but we will wait to see. Okay, CCL, we did pick some up down there, Neil, at that bottom when it did make that move. So we'll see about getting some out now at the top side. We are long there, 20, what do we get now, 13, so all the way up to 14, 15, 16, so nice little long on CCL. We actually did what we said we would do there and got in on this little move down. Nice little pickup. Let's see if we can't cash this out, make some profits right
Yeah, I went on the first half, lose on the second half for a flat trade. You use that 20 stop. I think it's a bigger play if you can get more profit out of it if you hold at that lower level. I just want to jump here because I give an update on luck, and I know you're asking that in the chat there, Greg. I'm not actually seeing any information. We're still halted, and I haven't really seen any news yet. We'll keep our ear to the ground to make sure we do get whatever that release is going to be. I also talked about Codex. It's what we have on to the short side, and we just took a third out like we said we would in front of 950. So you're going to get this little move down here, and again, now we're playing the range. The opening range so far has been a 950-ish bottom into that 980 that we worked off of. I'd like to see us flush more. We've seen 50 to 80 cent moves off of the open in Codex. If we get a break of 950, yeah, we should test down that 920 to 930 area and get you that move. So gonna hang on to 2/3 of this position and possibly reload at 980 again to see if we can't capture more profit here in Codex. It's the short that I have on. Looking at Delta just bouncing around. We're getting into a bit of a whippy market here off of the open. It was a slight move down. Some stocks crashed, but we're now leveling off a little bit here, Sean.
Oh, guys, we hit the bullseye on this one, but unfortunately we cashed most of it out in the 20s. But look at CCL here. We hammered that one, guys. Took a big position down here at 13, and that's why we were getting it all out for 10 plus pennies. But here we go. We just take some out. 40, 42, 43, guys. We are long once again. And look at where we're long XOM, baby. We're long 42.68 here on XOM. Everything making some money for us as we go a little psychedelic on everybody today. What's up, Brennan?
Another little one, guys. Another halt alert here. YGYI on the NASDAQ. Longevity, 130% to the upside so far today. Another company getting into the hand sanitizer game. They just announced a new hand sanitizer, guys.
Yeah,
big game. It's a big game.
You mentioned one halt. I'll throw you another. AKER has just halted as well in a volatility halt, up 65%. Just broke out through its pre-market top at 640 and then ran $1.35 here up to 775. So we're looking to see if we open up higher and then maintain that halt level, continue the run. That's always worth a look in some of these high-flying names. Worth noting here that AKER is approaching. I mean, it touched above here, 850, but there was a massive level at $8. This is what we're working off of right now. The last halt, 775. So above $8 is a lot of strength to continue this bull run on AKER, second day in a row now.
Once you say, I'm going to take off this. I mean, I don't have it yet. We're hammering XOM here. We're getting out. CCL's been a monster. We're not going to take Microsoft, though, guys.
Arrows down for Codex. This is basically what we talked about here. Get the 950 break. Second, third out at 939. So that's going to be about 33 cents that we'll take off on that trade. You're looking for that test to the bottom, guys. You want that 920 or so. That's the bigger move. Let's see if we can't get that move into the pre-market low on Codex. Yesterday we missed out on this trade. Tried to work it a little bit later. Had some success. Last couple of trades were a failure when we were reversed long. But now we cashed that flush off the open, which we really like the structure of this trade. You get that stair-step action to the downside, some support levels to work off of, work into that position, and make sure you hang on to some for profits. That's what it's all about here.
And what also it's all about is XOM, guys. Right here, we hit the bullseye, we hit the pop of wheelies, we throw the money everywhere. We already have CCL as your trader of the day. Look at this one, 42.68 all the way to the top side, right to 43 again. So we're going to wait to see here XOM, nothing but profits. CCL has been a monster, the biggest cash grab for me today by far here. CCL, we're just taking some out here at 50. We're reloaded. Look, once down here, 12.05. Then again, 12.13. We gave you this trade once we saw this happen. And bang, all the way back up here, 12.50. We're very, very light now. We only have 10% of this position left. So we'll wait to see and get that out right now. 12.60, 12.70. I'll see if we can't hold a little bit to see if we can't get to the top of the day here. But right now, wow, what a big win for this and XOM, guys.
AKER opens back up immediately below that halt price for the time being. Let's see what happens. You want to see it test that 775, 8 even once again. If it fails there, you are looking at an opportunity to short this one on a fade. A lot of times you'll see a little bit more juice here. 950 for it to already retrace seems a bit early. A lot of times you'll see a bit more move, more of a move up than this. Let's see if we can't get a move into that 8 even area. That's where I'd like to see it fail and jump into the shorts. The other thing you got to check is for those locates. Still working that Codex position, 940 it's at right now, reloading only in the 70s, using that 980 stop. Brendan, what do you got?
This DTW, we mentioned that a little bit earlier, 75% still pushing back up towards pre-market highs here. Just checking that 155, 160 area. This is a technology company. They develop technology in the medical space, so seeing higher demand, especially in Asia, they're saying, for some of their technology when it comes to the COVID-19 outbreak, guys.
That's what we're talking about. We are pennies away from that 50-cent target here on Codex. You can see the clean flush to the downside. Ultimately, you might not get all the way to the bottom. It is that pre-market low at 921, which would be exactly 50 pennies on my last shares here. But we do have some nice liquidity on the offer here at 930 that we can use to our advantage if it does want to bounce. 40 cents, 50 cents, it is what it is. You can see the move. It's been a fantastic one. I am watching AKER, which is moving back up towards that 775. Watch out for an 8 even break as well. That one might not be done yet, guys. Could still have some upside move to it.
Yeah, good thing you covered RCL there, Marlin Investors. Yeah, I haven't been looking at that one, but probably a good one. Let's check out JP Morgan. Not loading on my charts, but we'll see if it's loading over here. Okay, JP Morgan, yeah, this is what I thought. We're right at that VWAP here. Nice little bottom of 93 made over and over again. So 93.50 looks like a good little run here on JP Morgan, but we're going to wait to see, man. XOM, we're still long this one, 42.68. Our best out is up here, 97. We did just take some out in the mid 80s there. Let's wait to see if it breaks back above 43. So that's still rocking and rolling. And look at our CCL, guys. Right now, waiting for 1260. Have some orders in the middle here, then some orders up here at 1280. But that's been a rocking and a rolling rock star today for me. So I hope it's been the same for you guys. CCL for the win, guys. AAL also. Here we go. We're waiting at 68. So let's see if we can't get filled on this one for 50. There it is, for a 55 penny winner there on CCL. Still going. XOM also 30 pennies in.
And there goes AKER through that 8 even area. Got slipped quite a bit here to 814 on a long, but making a move already to 850. It looks like it might halt once again here. So I'm just going to take my profit off for about 30 cents. I don't love holding these through halts. So once I see it gearing up and not being able to push through a level, I see that action. I don't love it. You see some heavy action to the downside, not moving in price. That's going to indicate a halt level approaching for you there. So you can see it all grayed out. I take my 30 cents because I don't want to get caught in the halt. It is what it is. I mean, we're still headed to the upside, so it's not the craziest move if you happen to want to hold on to it. I'll just get in and out, no problem on that break, take my profit and wait 5 minutes for us to open back up.
Yeah, we're going to take a Macy's long here through 672. Macy's already up 20%, so let's see what happens here if it wants to blow through this. We're going to take a long there, and we do take that one. 672 we have there. So we are now long as XOM, wow, breaks through 43, and let's just keep this party going to the top side. Now XOM with that beautiful long, still going upside here. Its high was 15, wow. Let's put some orders there and get out of that one, but XOM to the moon now. As the market seems to want to go. If you're long, you're strong today. There's no doubt about that, guys. What's up, Brandon?
Just an update on Luckin here, guys. Just seeing a story pop up. Looks like this is just an update. Lawsuit was filed on behalf of shareholders. There was rumors of this yesterday, so not sure this is the actual halt news, but this just popped up. 9:52 here, a lawsuit filed on behalf of shareholders, guys.
All right, all
Good
right, all
look
right,
there.
and what a winner.
Gonna slap shot it here. We got exactly what we're looking for in Codex. I talked about that pre-market low 920. We get exactly 920, 921. We get that 50-cent move. You get 1/3 out all the way down. Bottom end of the range here, initially at 950, then you take that middle point between 50 and the evens out. Then you get that move to the pre-market low, exactly as we described. The structure of this trade is just how we put it down for you guys in Codex. So missed it yesterday, we're all over it today.
And there it is, babe. We hammer that one. Look at CCL, guys. Bang, bang, bang. We're going to have to tweet this out. We have tons of trades on this one, but still going higher, higher, higher. Look at our Macy's trade. What a great trade that was. In at 672. Our best out, 87, 88. Wow. What a move up that one was. And by the way, XOM, we took some out there at the 2s. So these are all moving for us quite nicely right now to the top side. CCL, wow, what a trade that was. You're going to see more of that one coming at 11 o'clock. We'll break down why we did that and whatnot. Big guests coming today. Really excited. Thanks for being on board. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're back for you guys every single day trying to find some winners.
I'm actually looking at the name Brendan talked about. YGYI just reopened lower after multiple halts on the way up. You got a pullback in here, now halting and opening below 150. So you got a 175 high. Similar play to what we're looking at in AKER. If it takes out that top and decides that the move isn't done, you can maybe get a scalp win. Otherwise, you're looking to see it fail to get back above this halt at 155, guys. So if you see it hold in this range, any kind of consolidation, we'll be all over that. Its volume is not nearly as good as some of the other names we've been looking at here, but it's still going to be firmly on the radar in play, up 127%. Good look, Brennan.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the same stocks we've always been looking at, guys. XOM, Macy's, CCL. I've lost on Apple and Microsoft today, but we go back to the well with some of these. Look at XOM right now, guys. So that's a great little trade there. Face slapping all around here. 42.65 is our long, and we take this to the top side. Lots of trades working out for us. Perfect structure, easy to trade, big cap names. Wow, and Macy's still going. I hate this stock, but wow, what a break today. Breaks the high there. Thank you to everybody joining us. If you're on Facebook or watching us, flip over to YouTube. I see it's a very, very active chat here. Thank you for that, guys. And yeah, we'll be getting our coffees soon enough. But when we are ready, maybe we can throw to Valeria at some point, as we know she does love her coffee as well. But here we go. We are almost out of XO. We're very light on everything. My biggest position capitalization-wise here is Macy's. So we're going to wait to see if this one can take $7, guys.
A quick look at Boeing here, guys. Bottom to top, just made a $6 move up and then rejecting through the pre-market and opening range top here at 163. So sliding back down a little bit. I'm going to take this little failure point here, 162.50. This is going to be an entry point right around this current price with about $1 worth of a stop. So going to have a quick retracement play over here in Boeing just to see. The futures have been holding this range and we're now in the top end of it. Want to see if we can catch some shorts that might work out for us. I like this one right now in Boeing off that little top, so 162.50. We're short just about $1 lower than that. Maybe work some here 162 even as well. But Boeing immediately working for us. Look, you take the trade, you're immediately in the money, 80 cents or so. VWAP retracement gives you almost a $2 move, $1.50 or so. So I like this one, Boeing. We'll add it to the list. Delta as well, looking for that one coming back below 26 even as well. So a couple of names you can watch.
Yeah, exactly. Boeing's a great one. We've been trading that really well. And like we talked about it before, volatility is your friend. And a shout out to Arun that was talking about what traders need is volatility. But yeah, exactly. Good job there, Alexander. As I see on the chat, was part of the CCL trade. And yeah, we're out of it now. So I have 10 shares left as we just hold this to see what it's going to do. But we'll probably get out of that one. CCL has been obviously a big money rainer. So we rain that money down in here as I find the button to push. CCL XOM still going to the top side as well. Let's throw it to our girl Val right now.
Hey viewers, how's it going? I just wanted to say that cities, the whole world is now being self-isolated, and thank God that we are having internet and you can watch our show, communicate with us on the chat. Please be active. Write where are you from, what are you doing, what stocks are you trading, and of course you can ask for recommendations and advices. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe for our channel, share the link with your friends, help our great show to spread the world. That's all for now. Back to traders.
and AKER is reopened, starting to head southbound, just failed to get through 9 even. 775 was that first price that we're going to be looking at, guys. 8 even is another key one to the downside. We're looking to see if we can get some locates here. Not going to be free to short this, but when it breaks 8, maybe 775, both those prices look good to me. Bit of a wall here at 8 that just bounced off of, so it's going to be a good short. I think once it breaks 8 even, we'll try and get some shares in to the south side.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still on the same names. If there's anything else you guys want us to look at, let us know. Wow. Check out Amazon, guys. Yeah, just say wow, because good hold there. I almost sold this one back around, I don't know, 17, 1800, but glad we did not. $2,033 right now, Amazon. What a big move today. 2020, I mean, not a big move, but just resisting that 2,000. You could have gone long there and held that. So Amazon looking to take out the top right now of the day. $2,036 right now on Amazon is the long if you're looking to do something else. I'm just trying to find out some trades here. BA, yeah, Boeing, nice little move up. I know Neil was talking about that one. We'll have a look at that in a minute. A name that I do like for a long-term hold, and we'll check out a chart in a few seconds here, would be our boy Visa. What a move that's had recently. Obviously, here's a daily chart coming your way, and if I can find it in 1 second here on Visa, here it comes. This little bottom of 135, banger right to 175. I mean, I know a lot of these financials look the same, but Visa is about as steady as it can come. Beautiful long up to 215. Now holding this. I'm going to trade this thing if it gets up to 180, guys.
Yeah, just looking back at the pullback in Codex here, it's gotten, 940 or so. I was looking at that 950 area. That's the level we like. It was our first take profit on initial short. So it gets back to that level. We're going to jump back into the short here if we get the opportunity. So I'm going to throw some orders out there, wait patiently for some Codex to come in here. AKER is holding around that $8 mark that we're just talking about. We want to see it trade and hold below. Any kind of consolidation is going to signal a short for me. You get that halt and a failure to make a new high and hold above the previous halt price, which was $8.44. So I like those two things together in concert. Make sure we get a hold here, and then look for this sell action right now. Approaching that 775, which is our second mark. This is what we want to the short side, but got to get those locates.
I don't mind testing out Microsoft shorts here, Kevin, as we were talking, and I noted that it was weak. I guess it was 10 or 15 minutes ago. That's why I basically gave up on this long. I was looking at 168.50. Good thing I didn't take it, because it basically does break and then falls all the way back down. So let's short this one into the weakness. I mean, into the strength, sorry. Unless it gets going again, we can take it out, breaking above this 168.50 mark. But yeah, let's average in and start building a short here in Microsoft. I hate doing it because the market's been so strong, obviously, the last couple of days. And right now we're long CCL, Microsoft. And you know what? Here, let's do this quick look here. We'll update it, Rob. We'll go to camera 2 here. We'll just update our positions just so you guys can see. Where's my pen? I don't even have my pen anymore, so I can't point to these things. CCL long 12.14. You guys know about that. It's going to be our trade of the day. That's 50 cents in the money. Macy's is 10 cents in the money, but we're scaling out of that one. And there's XOM, the banger. That's 55 cents in the money. Let's throw it over to Brendan now at the big screen with Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock. Not a lot in the way of economic data this morning, but there was a job openings number in the U.S. that just came out there at 10 for February. So going back all the way to February, it was 6.9 million versus 6.8 million. Not a big deal. Let's go to the markets. Nicely higher here. Here we go. Right across the board for the second day in a row. Just tick back below that 3% mark for the Dow, 2.9% now, or for the S&P rather. The Dow, 3.6% to the upside. Nice move. NASDAQ, Russell, same story, 2 and change to the upside. The TSX here in Toronto, nice move as well, 3.5% to the upside for the TSX. I did note that Air Canada shares really strong today. We have some of the cannabis names also moving higher. Crude oil is higher. That means energy names moving around. We'll show you in a second. BOVESPA, 2 days in a row here. Look at that. 5,000 point move for the BOVESPA down in Brazil, 7%. That equates to the upside. Let's go to a chart here. This is Cenovus Energy. Nice look. gapping up this morning from where we ended yesterday, about $3.70 around the close yesterday. We're up to $4, actually $4.40 now. Nice little look here, consolidation breaking to the upside. Decent volume behind this move as well for CVE. Obviously, oil helping to the upside in Toronto today. Here's Air Canada. Nice look, gapping to the upside, back above $16. We got to 17.5, pulling back right now to about 17. But Air Canada AC, nice look as well, looking like it might want to test the highs. Here's weed. We like to check in on the cannabis names. 4+% today. 21 held at the open there. It got all the way up to 21.75. Bit of a pullback at this point, but nicely positive to start the day, guys, right across the board. Back over to you.
Oh, man.
I'll give you a name that isn't positive, just noting a huge flush here on Gilead. So a big break when it took out 77 off the open. Now down $4 almost as we're racing for 73.50 here. It's held at one time. It's looking like it's going to crash through. So big time movement to the downside. Gilead, add this to your list, guys. This is going to be a big mover here. I'm jumping back over to Delta. This is a name that we like to the south side. It just failed through the top. It broke out pre-market top 25.72. That's a point a lot of people like that long. So you get a bit of a flush here on a retrace. The key thing is, do we hold these outs that we had earlier on? That was the bottom. This 24.50, this 24.60 area. So that's going to be a key bounce point for us on Delta. You're going to see a muted range here in the ES, but it's all about the names that are actually on the move today. You have the airlines actually moving. You've got Carnival actually moving. You've got some of these smaller caps which are actually making some bigger moves than the overall market. So this is what it's all about. I'm looking to jump back into this DAL and AKAER looking like it doesn't break through that 775 mark, guys. So right on a dime, that's the level I wanted to see taken out. Once it entered 8 to 775, turns around, so it might still be headed northbound. Until I see that break, I'm not jumping into the short. It's going to be only longs on top breaks on AKER unless I see that flush.
And guys, we hit the air horn there. I hope some of you had this. I just gave you Microsoft literally 3 minutes ago, and it was about $1 ago. So Microsoft all the way down. I'm glad you were able to catch that one, Kevin. At least small, like you mentioned. A nice little move to the downside there. We were able to short Apple a little bit. That one in the money for us, about 40 pennies. This move may be a little more serious than that. So we'll wait to see if we can't catch Apple. Although Apple's my biggest stock to the downside. So maybe I should scalp this instead of holding, but we'll wait to see, guys. We've already given you some monster winners today. Let's see if we can have another one here with Apple. Short right now 268, so we'll wait to see and build into this one at 269. I'm just not convinced on what this market wants to do. It's been super choppy now, but now we are at that little level here, 27.25. So you bounce off of 50 here. What a surprise. We go down 25 handles. Let's see if we can't retest this bottom, 27.15 in the futures. The only trade I have on is this Apple trade right now, and then our XOM, which is monstrous. So there we go. 42.68. You guys can see this trade in XOM right here. Follow us on Twitter. I'm tweeting these out as well. So if you have any opportunities there and you have a Twitter account, come follow us. Look at this XOM trade, guys. This is a 60 penny banger right here.
You guys are asking about Zoom. 114 on the bottom. If that 27.20 Sean just mentioned on the ES gets taken out, watch out. Zoom's already fallen $6 off the open, but that's not even the story. It's fallen over $10 if you look at the pre-market top here. So, that 7.5% that we're down, it's more if you look at it top to bottom in the market. Here comes a 114, immediately just takes it out. We're continuing southbound, so the trend is still your friend over there in Zoom. I got one short on. That's going to be CODX. We are going to add to it with that delta if it retakes 25 even. As we said, we like that short after it failed to break through that high.
And here we go, guys. We hit the siren. We hit the cash register. No baseball, but we'll hit a home run here anyways if I can find it eventually. There it is, home run. Look at Apple, guys. There's a 70-cent winner, and we just take some off. So we get crushed on the long, but here we go. We take a short 268, take some out there. I told you I didn't want to get too greedy. We take some out at 67, and then again at 34. So back-to-back jacks right there as we're going to keep coming down. Let's see if we can't take a clean dollar on this Apple move. I was saying that we felt this market was a little weak. XOM still, though, at day's high. We'll pair off half of that one and watch our Apple and see what this one wants to do. Would love to get more short at 269 and change. But right now, XOM and Apple for the big time explosion. Hope you guys had these ones.
Absolutely, and can't believe we missed Tesla there. Unbelievable break on Tesla, 545 up to 566. On the way back now, look, the market's going to come back in, and Tesla had just made a huge run to the upside. So I do like this retracement opportunity. If we're not going to test those highs, going to reload on the coffee. Thank you very much, Valeria. And we're going to now reload on some of these pullbacks. Tesla, first and foremost, in front of this lower high at 560. We'll see if we can't jump in this. I can't believe we missed the opening range break upside. That was as clean a $15 to $20 move as you're going to see in a Tesla.
Yeah, big win here on XOM as I tweet this out, and look forward to getting my coffee. Here we go. Thank you, Valeria, so much. Very nice. And guys, let us know what you take in your coffee. Let us know. I know, Neil, you could probably guess what he takes it. And
why can they guess, Sean?
One milk. Okay, here goes Apple, guys. Big time winner as we turn bearish. This is $1.25 now in the money. Apple coming near the day's low. We talked about this. Sorry about missing Microsoft. I know you have that one, Kevin. But here's another banger. As Apple goes, we say WTF to this market. You're still up 3%, but we hammer this short right now. We also get out of some of our XOM here at the top. Was in the middle of tweeting that out, and I'll do that right now as we throw over to Brendan. What's up, bud?
It's popping up on the volume scanner here, guys. Washington Prime Group, little media company, 36% to the upside. Just broke $1 even, so huge volume obviously coming in on that move. They got a huge cash infusion today. Big investor putting more than $2 million into the company. So WPG moving, guys.
There is a break on AKER, still looking to get some locates. I do like it on that 775 break at an 8 even as you're out, so we'll make sure if we can get those one. It's a little bit expensive to trade this name, guys, if you want to take it to the south side. Delta is holding right now. It's made another higher low at 24.77, so you're going to have to watch out for that, but the futures are coming down, so this is a short we want. I don't want 25 to be my out. You got to use 25, our original level, but it looks like we are trying to retest some of those bottoms there. So jumping back into Delta, about to see if we can't get that acre short. In seconds, we should be able to get that.
Yeah, and there's a chicken dinner right now, so if you're watching my wife, yeah, you know what? Wings are pretty cheap, but we'll have that tonight for sure. Actually, maybe not. I think she just sent me a picture of ribs, but I just made ribs on Saturday, so I'm not sure. 266, we love that barbecue. Here we go. Hit the register, hit the sirens, whatever you want. Apple now at day's low, and we are short right here. 268.05, 268.02, wait a second. $1.45 now in the money. Wow, nice little move back up there. But Apple, $2 at one point in the money. We're going to see if we still can't hold this down. You see the futures right to that level, guys. I mentioned it breaking this 27.15. We did that in a hurry and all the way down to 27. Do we get 2,700? I wonder how those puts are. One of our viewers was mentioning about having SPY puts. I guess those have gotten a little bit better in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, they probably have, and certainly a Tesla off the top here doesn't even give you much of any chance to get in, but here's your shot, guys. The bottom end of that consolidation, 555, 556 or so. So on this little pullback, that might be your first chance. So 557 or so looks like a nice little entry price. AKER looks like it's going to test that entire range. We're going to work into that position using the lower highs are out. Of course, we also like Delta in front of 25.25 on the replay there. So going to add to that position. We already have our stop in, locked and loaded, ready to go. Delta's been one of our best names this morning, so jumping right back into those waters while they're warm.
Yeah, and we are going to get out of this Apple trade if it does break right above where it almost did right there. I don't know, maybe a little bit luck there. It comes right up to 30, right where we're at, and we don't get out. That's where our kind of our kill spot is going to be. Just this was a low made already right at 933 before bouncing off. So if we can't hold this level, which is 267.30, we'll be out of Apple. But I'm also going to try to slip out of this one, maybe 266 and change down here. And then we'll play the bottom break once again. So 266.30 will be our out, or 267.30 on the downside. But here it comes screaming to the bottom. So a nice little $1.50 winner. Let's take some out right now as we throw to Brendan for upgrades and downgrades.
Gonna have to look at GM here, guys. I'm not sure the quote is correct, but General Motors on the downgrade side over there saying 26% to the upside. Haven't noticed that one today, but we'll check it out. On the upgrade side here, Constellation Brands, nice look so far. Coming back in a little bit. We'll show you in a sec, but STZ there, nice look. Lowe's, Mohawk, and Voya Financial, about 3.5%. Almost 13% there for Mohawk. Yeah, General Motors downgraded, but 26%. We'll have a look at that. Shopify, Smile Direct, and Twilio Twilio, 6.5%. For Twilio today to the downside. If you're looking for a little bit of weakness to look at, STZ here mentioned nice push off the open here from 150 all the way up to 162. $12 move there for Constellation Brands. We're coming back in to 152 now. Should be a little bit of support. STZ looking good so far today. The other one I wanted to mention was Shopify. This is in Toronto. You can trade it obviously in New York, but down now 4% in Toronto. We opened way up here at 574. This thing straight to the downside today to 530. So very, very weak for Shopify so far today. Guys, back over to you.
Buddy, we get out of the Apple. I just posted on there, and then it drops $1. So we will fall in a hole. You know what? No. I'm going to put Apple into the gates of hell because we did go long. Actually, I'll just turn an evil laugh here. We'll put it in. Yeah, there it is. We go smiley, then laughing on that one because we're super happy to take $1.75, but then it does tank all the way to the bottom. And I know, Kevin, that you had this one as well. I was pounding this right here at 167.80. Unfortunately, I talked too much and missed the trade, and look at this, all the way down. I hope you guys had Microsoft. We're at our highest spot today, net-wise for myself, so we're really super happy with the way the day's been going on this.
Sean,
move
it's not
down
to the moon, it's to the downside with Delta again, approaching 2,700 in the futures. You jump into the shorts that you love. I got 3 of them on. One of them is Delta. We just took out that low, so once again, we work in front of 25, out at 70s, out some more at 24.50, still hanging on to that last third, same structure as before. Now I want that pre-market bottom. That'll be 24.10 or so, about 70 or 80 cents to see if we can't get a big time winner once again on Delta. I want to update there, Brennan. I saw 11% to the upside on GM, not that 23, so might be a wrong graphic there, but Delta, home run for the second time on this to the short side, and AKER starting to work to the downside, holding below 8 even. We got 785, half is our short. Brendan, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, there's a little bit of news on GM here. Yeah, you were right there, Neil. About 11%, 10.5% now. Kind of consolidating right around this 2160. Nice look for GM. They announced this morning they're going to both extend roadside assistance services in the Middle East for customers and also their warranty for another 3 months for Middle East customers. So a little bit of positive news for GM today, guys. All
right. 42, 49, maybe a nice little break here on XOM. If we can get that trade, we'll do that. Look at this big move down here. You're going to see a big move also coming in CL, which is crude. Big. I mean, is it a big move? I don't know. We're still up here. It's going to be hard to see, but 1.4%. As you can see, 26.65 here on crude oil was that top. And then a nice little candle down here, creating some XOM movements to the downside as we go short now on XOM. Let's see how this one will work itself out. We're nicely in the money already, a quick 10 pennies.
Quick look here at Codex. We've had this short on. Obviously, Delta's been a much more interesting stock. That's where we're covering that. Some of the things that are moving, we're getting the bigger wins on. And we did have a great initial flush on Codex. It's now making a bit of a bottom here at 930, higher low. I think this is an opportunity for us to maybe add on a break at 930 on Codex. We already have 943 short. We're working off a 950 level, so we'll go ahead and have a stop if it breaks 930. See if it also can't test the low. As 2,700 gets taken out, we got our last leg out on Delta in front of 24 even, and 24 even's about to go. So the shorts are really starting to come in here, guys. Make sure you got some love to the south side and some good names. We've been giving you as many as we can. Yeah. We got some upside plays. We got plenty of downside plays as well. Adding Codex here if we can at 930.
I'm trying to add CCL. I did add CCL actually. I finally to the short side, but yeah, it's not going to work. We get a little bit out there at 8s and 9s, and now we're bumping to the top side here. I was trying to do that. You saw Delta. A lot of those names Neil was just talking about crashing down to the bottom. CCL has been so super strong. We take the risk there. Instead of loading up long, which I've done twice, we decided to go short at that same long spot. So hopefully that doesn't wind up burning us. XOM,
Sean, if we're going to hold below 2,700 and you're going to get this test back down in CCL, it's up so much the last few days, it's going to be hard for me not to take a shot on one of these.
Woohoo!
I'm with you. You got to be shorting this. You get that 12-20 break, key level. Let's see if we can't play off it.
Yeah, and here we go. We have the ideas, and CCL, bang to the downside. We hammer that one. XOM, bang to the downside as well. We hammer that one. So CCL right now short 12.13. We're at 11.98. That's mac and cheese. Wow, here we go. Wow, you put some shares on it. Now you are getting rewarded. Did not expect this kind of a drop from CCL, but there you go. The money just keeps on raining in. Timber to the downside. We get some CCL out. Look at that, 93. 93. What a great out that was. That's a quick 20 pennies on CCL, guys. Wow.
Yeah, that's as easy as it gets. I mean, you talk about that 12-20 level, and ultimately, this is what's happening, guys. The market coming back in, so I know we don't always cover it, but here is the break. You're looking down towards 81.30 we got to on the NASDAQ. The ES right at that 2,700 mark, so that's why I took some profit out when we got to 12 even on CCL. Ultimately, let's see what happens. I think you reload one shot in front of that 12.20. I do like that level. If you like it to the long side, when it breaks below, you want to see if it can hold. I'm going to go to AKER. It's now making that consolidation that I like to look for when you want to build into a short. So it took out that 775. Now it's testing the top end of that range. So it was 840. Now it's 820. You slide your stop to 820. You tighten up. You can add to the position as you consolidate a little bit here. If you get a bigger flush, you've worked in at a relatively safe price. So I love these retracement plays when they lose a little bit of juice to the upside. And AKER is doing the most volume out of all of these names here running. So 17 million shares. That's why we're going to focus on it.
Yeah, we're just focusing on the big caps, and yeah, we are absolutely destroying this. So we say happy day for us as it just keeps on moving into the money for us. XOM, we just take it out there. Whoopsies, we're sort of just scalping XOM here. You can see 42.50 short. We just took some out 36. That's where we're at right now. So XOM, we are short 42.48, and we are short, but almost out of everything. CCL was not expecting that huge drop down into the 90s, but we have taken most of it out here. Middle of the 12, so 12.05, 12.06 our average out on this 13, and we're so super light. Our day has gotten huge, and Pokeroo, those Canadians out here might say, huh, Pokeroo, who's that? Look it up, but great show from the childhood, blast from the past there with Pokeroo, guys.
And CODX, we did get that break at 9.30, so we are moving deeper into the money on that 9.43 short. However, we crossed down aggressively, do not get the shares. We're going to have to wait for a pullback. So we're once again looking to test the low on this short. We've been working this short all morning long. The new target is now down here. We're going to look bottom at 9.13. We're looking to take it out in front of that. We just got some more shares. 12.20 is our stop level on Carnival, so only risking about 10 cents on this short entry because you're shorting the bottom and you have a key level coming up. It's going to give you other opportunities to get in if it's going to be good, so I wouldn't worry too much about it if you get blown out. If you're shorting here at the bottom, you'll have other shots. Carnival's moving way too much not to give you continuous trade day in, day out, all day long. AKER still building, added more to our position there at about $8 even, guys, so working that one with an 820 stop as well. One last name I want to get to we haven't talked about at all today is going to be that Disney. It just slid all the way back down to the bottom. It was strong off the open, 102 bottom. It's now about to retest that low. As the futures are at that 2,700 mark, you want to have some names in case we bounce aggressively off 2,700. Where do you like the long? I might take a shot at Disney. If we get any kind of a bounce here, look for a retrace back through VWAP. That'll be 104.25 and pick that one up.
Yeah, I had Disney long earlier on in the day and lost a little bit on that, which is unbelievable because, well, actually not really. Here, I had this during this drop. We've already made this bottom 102. Could be a good look. But we are ready for Brendan at the big screen. Take it, bud.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. We'll have a look at a couple moving around today. Really not a lot of opportunities. AKER, another one we could have checked out. But let's start with CODX here. Obviously, big mover yesterday, gapping to the downside today. Talked about this one around 9:25 if you joined us this morning. Gapping to the downside today, now down 10%. So it will be SSR if you're looking to get involved with it now. Yesterday, they came out and said that their COVID-19 test has finally received emergency FDA approval for use. So big move up yesterday. We're down today. You go back to about midday yesterday, the $10 even level. An obvious pivot point was both resistance and support. Pretty easy entry here in the pre-market, right in front of 10. So I mean, 5 to 10 cents of risk maximum on this trade. And look at that, we're already $1 in the money. So Codex, Neil's been hitting this one as well. Great opportunity back to the downside today. Once again for CODX. APT, the other one I wanted to talk about. I mentioned this one briefly. I was really hoping for kind of a push back up into this area from yesterday, which is 1450. We came down in a hurry off the open yesterday and held 1450. Above that, 15 even, an obvious level on APT, but just never happened. I mean, there was a consolidation here in the pre-market, nice flush off of the open down to 13. If you took that, I guess you could have used 1420 on APT for your out in the pre-market, but was really hoping for a move up into this 1450. Never happened, didn't take it, but a couple of opportunities anyways in small cap world. Let's go back over to Neil.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. One name we haven't talked about, but a big move to the downside on AMD, but just bouncing back into positive territory on a little bit of a retracement here. 47 even being the level that we just took here. So I know a couple of you guys are looking at this name, big time mover. Like we said, you want to look at some individual names that are moving a little bit more than what you're seeing in the overall market. We're hanging out at the top end of this range at 2,700 on the ES. I'm going to quickly throw the position board on so you guys can see what we are working with. It's a couple of shorts and some movers here. One of them is at AKER, which is moving to the downside. We got 787 short. That's starting to go here, guys. The other short, of course, is in Codex. I'm going to work quickly over to AKER. Is that just started to flush out? So we broke that 775 again. Now you're looking to take off, for me, about 40% in front of VWAP, looking for that second flush to test this little bottom here at 7 even, guys. So you look to take first profit off, maybe in about a 30-cent range or so, and then work to the downside. There's lots of room on this retracement for a bigger win here on AKER. I like the breakouts to the upside, but once you get these failures, you halt, and then you go lower. Consolidation, we love that retracement play. We've jumped into this one on AKER. We're now working in the money pretty deeply on this one at 787, looking to see if we can't take some out in front of 750. Our other short, of course, was Codex. Just going to jump over to that one. It's down, 9% or so, but it is looking like it wants to bounce back up. 950 is going to be our stop. 935 average price. It was a home run the first time. The second time, unless you break that 915 low, you're probably not going to get another home run with this one. You tend to be able to trade Codex all day long, which is what we're going to try to do, but sometimes that best play is the open play. Oh, I see Sean just sitting back down to get that little water. You got to stay hydrated, my friend.
Build up a water. Wow,
I'm going to jump guys over to Delta here because that just made a big time flush through 24 down to 2340, now bouncing as well. So look at this consolidation level where we had our out, 2420. That's the new level on Delta. We'll see if we get a pullback into there. AKER is now 30 cents in the money. Probably going to look to start taking off at least 20% of that. That's a good return, $8 stock. Probably shouldn't get too greedy with this one.
Yeah, I wanted that AKER. Greg's going to put that through for me as well. Okay, so as we were gone there, CCL, yeah, we get out 95s there. So once again, a big time winner. We hit the fireworks for that one. We're pretty big on everything today, guys. XOM, we're short 42.48 right now, and this is all the way down here at the bottom. Again, we covered the majority of this trade right here, but look at this XOM short off this 42.50 break. Really love that one. We talked about oil coming back down, and now boom, all the way down here. So the only position we have on right now is this XOM short, and it's at 42.50. So it's a nice 30-cent winner as we go, but it's been destruction time on. Look at Carnival. Wow. Did we ever hit that one nail on the head there? 12.13 short. That was fantastic. I didn't believe in it, so we got out too early. Thank God we got some 93s, the rest 96s, but wow, we definitely gave up the goose on that one a little too early. So not that we were doing any of this, but wow, we definitely missed that opportunity there on CCL, and we'll put that trade up in smoke. Although we've absolutely destroyed it. It's our biggest stock today. Just missed opportunity on that short. That'd be 40 pennies in the money now. And everything goes to plan with the arrow down on AKER. You do get that flush. We talked about taking shares off in front of that VWAP. We just got shares in the 50s out for that 35 cent win for some of our position. Then we took some more out here at 740 on this name, so about 45 cents. So now you're going to hang on to the rest. I'm not going to move my stop aggressively. We'll keep it, go from 820 to only about 8 even. Not going to move it any further than that, but I want to test through VWAP all the way down. Next leg will be 7 even, and then from there, it's how far can it retrace. It's still up 50%. There is plenty of room to go to the downside. Some of those longs might still have to get out here and take their profit. So we slid to the short side. The market helped us out a little bit, but it was all about that halt and consolidation lower. I love that play. You're reaping the rewards here if you took it here on AKER. Yeah, AKER, I mean, unfortunately, I was getting that water, but this is a very good trade that I know Neil's short up here. That's fantastic. I would have pounded this, which this is why I wanted them. 750 would have been a great short there for me, breaking that 50 cent. Now we're down to the 25 area as well, so that's another key level right there, 725 on AKER. So it looks like that may break as well. I'd love that 750 level. There it goes. Again, damn it, that is an easy trade. for me, but missed it, not here, so it doesn't really matter. 725, you like that one. Next level, like Neil said, 7, AKER. Sometimes you get these crazy moves as well, but I haven't looked at anything like this today. I think I need to.
Yeah, I'm going to hit those fireworks. So we get that little break. You talked about 7 even there. I did take some out at 717. Our average price this move was 787, so you get a 70% win there. It's about 10% in that range. I like that target profit. We're going to hang on for dear life with our last 20%. Going to slide our stop to exactly break even. So that 8 even that I talked about, that's where you're going to stop out on the rest, and then you're going to let it ride. I'm not going to go with a trailing stop. If you were following the show yesterday, I don't love trailing stops in some of these less liquid names, some of these low float names. I think you want to stick to trails on some bigger names like Sean. You look at an Apple, maybe you look at things like Microsoft. A little bit better to have trails. Not going to do it here in AKER. I want the flush. I want 8 even, which will be break even on the last 20%.
Yeah, AKER, like we just talked about that. A great trade, great look there, Neil. Congratulations on that one. The ES bouncing around now 2,700. So I think that's obviously something we need to look at as well. AKER right at that $7 level. So that was a fantastic little look there. What a break from 850. I hope a lot of you guys had that for sure, and I'm sure that you did. What about Apple? Those of you might say, or am I just talking to myself? 265 bottom there, nice little bottom. Now up to 266. I would still like to see if it can hold here. 266.11. We'll probably start building some shorts into that spot, guys.
Yeah, having a quick look, and I was joking with a trader. We were talking about Pfizer, and I was saying, oh man, I like Pfizer. Always kind of been a fan here. And I'm like, well, you get a little bit impatient and wanting to buy some 35s in this name. And yeah, we'll just wait around. You'll probably get 34 if we retrace. And wow, 34 came in. We're back down to that price. It bounced off 33.85 and now is holding that 34 even area. So we talked about a couple of names. Disney was one of them. If we can maintain 2,700 on the ES. Now, you don't love these longs if we're going to slide lower here. But if we maintain these levels and we get any kind of a bounce to the upside after a consolidation, Count Pfizer is another name we're going to jump into, guys. So Disney, Pfizer. For now, we're still working shorts because the market's looked relatively weak on this little pullback. But when we start thinking about upside plays a little bit later on in the day, you got to have some names in your back pocket. I'm throwing Pfizer into that list. But for now, going to hang on to AKER short, going to work Codex short. I'm going to have another look at Delta, which has been my best stock to the short side today. That's where I had the structure that made sense to me. It didn't give me a re-entry there at 24.25. We just missed it by 5 or 10 cents, but it looks like the trend is still in downside delta. Brendan, what do you got?
Nice look here for Livongo, guys. LVGO up about 11.3%, coming up to 34 here. They actually reported earnings. There's still a little bit of earnings happening right now. Also caught a couple of upgrades. So LVGO nicely strong today as well, guys.
LGBO, definitely worth a look, guys. Make sure you are following along on Twitter. If you're in the Facebook chat, jump over into YouTube. That's where a lot of the action is. We try to talk about some of the names you guys are looking at. I'm seeing people are interested in Facebook. It's up a couple of percent still, despite, as we load here, being on the bottom right now. And ultimately, there's other names I tend to like relatively more in terms of volatility and cleaner moves lately. I will note that Facebook did break through on the daily chart when it took out that 170 mark. But you look at this, a rejection of this 170 does give you a bit of a wall if you're a shorter here. So, it's worth a look here if the market continues to be weak. But again, this is not the first name I'm jumping to on the short side. I think Delta's looked pretty weak. Zoom has looked very, very weak as well. So there's some other names I like a little bit better if I'm going to be a seller.
Yep, Delta's one of them for sure, and other names other than that like Zoom. I want to look at AAL. AAL's been super strong, but I am looking right at this 1090 here. I'm looking at that right in the face to see what we can do with that if it does break down lower. The ultimate low on the day, though, is this 1078, which happened at 922. Obviously up a nice 16%. Just think that there could be some profit taking in here. I don't want to smash the 11. Normally we would do that, but it's resisted it too many times, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times here, resisting an 11 break. So I have to wait until this ultimate break of 1092 before we do anything on American, but we are ready for Brendan again.
Nice look here for Momo, guys. 6.4%, broke 22 there right at the open, gave you a nice long opportunity up to 23. No significant news on this one. Little Chinese-based online social networking platform. Momo moving as well, guys.
Yeah, Momo definitely worth a look. I'm just going to update you guys. You know, Luckin, we're still waiting to see what happens here. It is still halted. 9:15 is when it halted in the pre-market. It hasn't opened up. When that does occur, we will jump over to it. A name that we talked about in the pre-market was Kraft Heinz. It actually made a better move than I would have expected, falling off a cliff at 27 even here. It's still up 2.5%. You are, interestingly enough, getting a pullback into VWAP. And we just looked at a few names. They're working off of their bottoms. So relative strength would be based out at 2,700 on the ES. First names to crack above VWAP here and move to the upside. A lot of times on the way down in this market, it had been a name like a Microsoft. Let's see what Kraft Heinz can do. Let's look at Disney, because that was another name that we kind of like. It's now just getting off its bottom, so lagging a little bit here, but we're now back above that 27 that we're looking for. Disney makes a bit of a bottom. It breaks above this 103 mark. This is where I'll start a position. First long I've had in a while, now that I think about it, but we're going to start here in Disney, work this one in front of that 102 low.
Yeah, and we're going to go long here on Microsoft as well if we can get above this 165.30 or so area, guys. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. Let's get this party rocking and rolling, guys. We're at a nice little number here on YouTube. Make sure it keeps popping up, man. We're here every single day as long as the government lets us. We'll be here. So make sure you hit those likes, subscribes, everything. We did have Kevin O'Leary on. We have guests all week. Check out our Instagram, our Twitter. Each of us have Twitter as well. Make sure you come over there and give us a visit. Let us know how we're doing and whatnot, and hope you guys are enjoying the show, obviously, and we see that in the chat. Hit us up with questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. At 10:50 we have Money Talks, then we have at 11 our trade of the day, followed by our guest of the day at 11:40. Rahim Alani from OCI Group's going to come in, talk a little bit of investment banking, some small caps. I think it's mining today, but it could be cannabis. We are going to find out about that from Brendan in a second. But Rahim Alani, 11:40 today, guys.
Yeah, he can talk about both. So I think we can cover all of those topics there. So I'm going to throw the position board back on just so you guys can be updated. I know everything is moving fast here, guys. So these are the positions I have on. I still have that last 20% short in AKER. That's fine. Break even, stop only. I'm not going to slip that one any lower. Disney we just picked up in case we make a bit of a bottom here. We started at 103.12. We'll add in front of that 102 bottom in case we hold 27 on the ES. Codex, we still have short side at 937, guys. So if 950 breaks, fair enough. We'll take that one off. Otherwise, we're going to stick with the trend in Codex. Trend is your friend until it isn't, and it hasn't broken yet for me. So Codex staying short after that first home run in the morning.
Rahim's going to be talking about retail, energy, and Corona beer, I think, is what Brendan said. Oh, no, that's the virus.
What?
That's right. Yeah, something about the virus.
Oh, well.
Okay. Yeah, we are going to be talking about that with Rahim. So stay tuned if you want to find out some little retail names you might be able to pick up here. Energy and the beer market here, Corona. So we're going to wait here. Microsoft keeps bouncing. It's not breaking this 30, which makes me think it should be good when and if it ever does. So 165.30, we'll put some effort into that one and see if we can't get some winners. I did want to check back on AAL. Again, we've been really big on a lot of our trades today. Only two losers, actually, Apple and Softy today as we go, and Disney. So the big market cap names that I normally do well on today, not so much, but CCL, Macy's was huge, and XOM's been a monster for us as well. Maybe I have to check in on Boeing, as some of these names I'm looking at right now don't seem to want to get going.
Good look there. We love you guys staying in the chat there. Chicago, thanks a lot for following along. Do see if you can educate yourself. And if you guys have names that you're looking at that we haven't covered, it's not like we can trade every stock in the market. If you just throw them in the chat, we'll have a quick look and see what's going on with them. I was talking to you about Pfizer and jumped into Disney. I should have liked Pfizer better at 34, and then you get that 34 break, it's already moving to the upside. So I'm going to slip an order in and see if we can't get something on any kind of a pullback into that 34 even area. Disney working off that 102, just not showing the strength I would have liked there, Sean. So, right now, 102 is going to be my hard stop on that one. We're adding one time in front of it to get our average price closer to 60 or 70. That's what we want to work with in Disney, but can't let 102 go. We're going to look at Pfizer, though, at 34 if we get that price. Otherwise, Codex and Acre, those are the names we have to the short side, and a couple of longs. Another name that we kind of got away from is NEO. It's done 18 million shares, but look at this range. We tried it in front of 25, and we talked about only risking a couple of cents there. Its range is literally nothing on the day. I mean, it's top to bottom about 10-cent move. Most of it's been half that. So NEO, off the radar completely. I don't think we can have that one for a trade today.
Forget about NEO. It was so good for so long, and then all of a sudden it got pretty bad. I'm going to take off my Microsoft long. I don't have it, but I'm going to take the order out. I was waiting for it to break this 30, as you guys know. Relatively weak. Kevin and I identified that earlier, so not even really sure why we are looking long. But as I've heard now 3 or 4 times, what's up, Brandon?
Cal, guys, CAL, nice look here. CAL up 45%. Little shoe retailer, shoe manufacturer, updating their Q1 forecast, saying they're still planning on meeting their Q1 forecast for 2020. So big time positivity here for CAL, guys.
I don't even know why I try longs and get away from the trend here. Basically, everything I've shorted has worked. The long trades basically are flushing out here, so we'll get away from that Disney trade. Immediately in and out, you're going to lose 70 cents on that one. It was about 3-to-1 win-loss ratio I like, but I don't love the fact that we didn't really get a bounce off 27 there in the ES. So you're going to hang on to some of your short positions and maybe jump back to some of the names that you thought are relatively weak until we get some clean action to the upside. So you're going to look back at a Delta, which again is sort of hanging out in this 24-25 range. That could be an interesting name to go back into the short trade. I know some of you guys were looking at Zoom. Haven't made a trade yet, of course. I've looked at maybe 7 or 8 names here. Zoom hasn't been one, but there was a big flush at 114. We're trying to get back to that level right now and failing to do so. So if we roll over here and take 2,700, go ahead and look at a Zoom short. I think that'll be a good one here. 8% to the downside still. It was a lot lower when we based off of 110. Maybe we test that level again as long as we get a slide here in the futures.
Yeah, the only trade I have on right now is that Disney short through 102. So we had 102. We got out some at 83 there, but we're going to wait for more and more to come on that name. Remember, guys, tomorrow we have Sean Shirzadi coming through from Flemington Food Bank. So we've donated to that in the past, and we will continue to do that now, as this is a great time, guys, to look at your food banks and look at some of those less fortunate than yourself. So we have Sean Shirzadi coming. Flemington Food Bank here in Toronto. We are going to be donating. That's tomorrow at 10:30. We donated last week and we'll be doing it. And I'll leave the details for tomorrow, but I will be donating every week until this is all sort of settled down again. Big time move, and I want to thank Day Trade the World and Trader TV for these donations as well. So big time move there for us. We're not only making money in the market, but also very important to give some back. So that's Flemington Food Bank. Will be live tomorrow at 10:30 with Director Sean Shirzadi. But we are ready. I think it's a throw to Brendan again.
Yep, Brendan.
Yeah, just wanted to add to that quickly. Sean Shirzadi going to be joining us live from the food bank tomorrow, so giving us a look inside of the operations there again at 10:30. So Sean Shirzadi again, Day Trade the World and Trader TV Live donating to the Flemington Food Bank. So good look there for Sean, guys.
Yeah, not everyone is as lucky to be at work and be able to do what they do here, and we're happy to be here. And certainly, when you're making that money, think about others as well, guys. And Brendan, you mentioned when you're at the board there, the upgrades and downgrades. General Motors still up 10%, but look at that nice top made at 2180. Now basing out lower than that. So I talked about the not getting that bounce off 2700. Replays here to the downside. Looking at General Motors here after it puts in a lower high. Let's see if we can't slide into some shares. Use that other top here. 2160 as a bit of an out and jump into General Motors. GM for the first time south side up 10%. Let's see if we can't catch a retrace.
And come on, Disney, the only position we have on right now is this Disney short, and it's at 101.90. So it's just right here. We're sitting at this bottom spot of the day right now. We've already taken most of them out right here, but we are on the bid now, looking to get out in the 70s. Normally, we want obviously way more than this, but the market right now not giving it to us. Kind of flat. We need to break this 2,700. If we do, then yeah, I do expect Disney to flush down below this 101.50 level. Here we go. Come on, Disney. We're sitting right here at the low of the day in this open session here. There it is. Bang. So disco ball time right there. As Disney now breaking the low. We're short Disney here. One of our only negative stocks about to turn positive for us net-wise. But here we go. Disney, nice little short here. Getting out at the low of the day. Let's see if more is to come. And at the big screen now, with it looks like it's our sector watch, which is a big one for us. I want to see what the banks are doing today, Brendan. Let's throw it over to Brendan.
Yeah, let's jump in to the banking sector. We'll start off in the financial group, going to be over here today. Among the leaders, we have consumer discretionary stocks leading. But yeah, here's the banks right here. LNC, AIG, HIG, and PFG. Insurance companies, to be more specific, leading the way in this group, all up more than 10% here on the day. There's the banks. Region Financial, KeyBank, FITB, and HBAN, all up more than 5% as well for the actual banks. Diversified financials, there are a couple of red ones here, but otherwise the banking group financial sector here doing quite nicely among the leaders on the day. Consumer discretionary stocks 2 days in a row leading the S&P 500 to the upside though. All the cruise lines are over here. RCL, CCL, Norwegian, 16, 17 we'll call that, 18.3 and 24% to the upside for RCL, leading the way now in the pre-market. It was CCL that was leading this group, but no longer. Marriott, LVS, and Wynn, some of the hotels, MGM down here as well, 9.6%. So hotels also positive. CPRI, RL, and TPR, some of the clothing manufacturers and retailers doing quite nicely. UAA up here as well, Under Armour with a nice day in positive territory. We'll flip over to this side. Where did the energy stocks go? Right here. Yeah, big time positivity for energy, obviously moving around throughout the morning, but APA, WMB, and FANG all up more than 10%. APA now leading the way, 16% on the day for Apache. Energy stocks among the leaders. Industrials, real estate, material stocks, all positive. If you're looking for some weakness, software companies here in the tech group are in negative territory. Some of the hardware manufacturers as well. Looks like semi is kind of flat on the day, but overall the tech stocks are positive. Way over here, communication stocks, ATVI and EA down on the day, about 4% each. So overall, very positive though, guys. S&P now 1.9% to the upside. Back over to you.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. And quickly in and quickly out in front of VWAP there. We took the first half of our GM short out. We got 21.40, 46 was our entry price. Wanted to be an adder if we got the 50. Didn't quite get that, but you slide below VWAP. You had this little bounce here at 21.20. Just want to make sure we get some shares off in front of it. Then if you take out this bottom, look to see if you get an extended move. At that point, you can then start working into some shorts off of VWAP on a retracement. We're still holding 2,700, so we haven't picked a direction. What we do here is grab a short that gives us some cover. An obvious lower high got put in, so even without a move in the futures, you can still make a move on a name like a GM, which had made a bit of a top there that you can play off of. So GM, first trade of the day, already a winner. It's these shorts that keep on working for us, so we're going to stick with the short until we get any kind of a real base on the futures here. Maybe that 2,700 does hold ultimately, but until then, play those shorts, guys.
Yeah, and we're short Macy's right now, taking off, scalping off a quick 2 cents right now, but we're going to wait for more on that one. Look at Disney. There we go. Timber. We waited all morning for this one, getting this 102 break. We knew it was super weak when we got burned long here 105 all the way down to 102. Beautiful move back up. Great shorting opportunity there, but look at this. We are short 102. We're at 101.26 right now, so that's a falling sword. Macy's right now short at 623. We destroyed this one on the long. We actually took a big position here. I don't know why, but just breaking the high of the day there. Now we break this low and we take a smaller position, about a third of what we had here, but now we drop it back down. This is another 4-penny winner on Macy's as Disney now breaking lower and lower. Let's put a bid out here in front of 101. What a big winner there. Weed Batman is here. I need a Disney Batman, but we're going to wait to see here. 101 and change, getting this out for a nice little 70-cent winner.
Yeah, and we're still holding the 3 shorts that we got on, but I want to make sure we get a quick look back at one of our better names of the day, and that's going to be that Delta. You want to see what happens in the weakness. It's looking like it's going to retest that bottom. We're just hanging out in a bit of a range-bound trade. You don't want to force things. I do have exposure to 3 names to the short side right now with no long positions, but I am watching very closely this 24.30 area. If we can break that to the upside, that might be a signal that we're getting away from that short on that Delta. So I am still looking at this name. We do like it. Yes, it's been number 1 today for us, but we got 3 positions on right now. We're looking at the bottom end, 23.40. Can we take that one out? Otherwise, we're just going to ride this GM trade for the time being. I would love to be adding on any pullback here if we can get above this VWAP and maybe re-enter the trade in the 30s. We do have 46 short. It's all about whether we can take out that 2120. If we can do that, we're hanging on for dear life. We'll move our stop possibly to VWAP at that point, slide that stop down on GM. It's a liquid name, so I don't mind trailing it, but that's what we're working with in GM. Still got that codex. It's really stopped moving, but it is in the money for us, so we're just going to hang on with our 950 stop.
Yeah, I love that GM breakthrough 2120. Wow, if that does happen, that's a good one. And there's Disney. So Timber Disney, yeah, let's go. Breaking through 101, we get some out 30 there. We are going to wait to see now as we have 20% of our position left. And bye-bye, there goes 101. Hopefully, we'll wait to see on Disney there, stopping at 101.06. Could be a good move. Downside if we break through 101. We're going to be big on that one as well. Here's our Macy's trade. That's at 23. It's all relative, guys. You got to have the big shares. I actually have more money right now on a 5-cent winner than I do a 70-cent winner. So that's a swish right here with Macy's. 17s making that move down. We just take some out there at 17. 16 now coming through. So yes, we hit this one and it's big time winners, guys. Look, check below if it's your first time joining us. Look to see what's below here. It's our profits, it's our loss, it's our positions. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. We're up a lot of money here today. It's been a good one. Disney looking to break 101, and Macy's, we go from long up here, 672, bang that out, to the short all the way down here, and now we are cruising with a 7-penny winner. And like I said, I'm making more money now, 8 pennies in the money, than I am 90 pennies in the money on Disney. So you got to trade accordingly, guys. I made 184 fills.
Brendan talked about that Momo. I'm watching it base out here right at the top end of its range. It failed at 23, even 22.95, up 6%, had a parabolic move off of the open. So watch this on a retrace. We're sliding back south here on the futures. I like this one on a break, so we're going to jump in right here, right now, as it just broke this range on Momo. You can see well, the break was at 22.75. I'm able to get shares there first at 64. I'm going to add to it in that 75 to 80 range using that high of the day or the lower high at 22.85 as a bit of an out. Brendan, what do you got, buddy?
Name with Chinese ties here. IQ.NQ down now 7%. Just got flushed. Look at this move, guys. 17.25 all the way down to 14.50. Going to double check on news here, but not seeing anything significant yet. But IQ getting sold pretty hard, guys.
Yeah, selling the market pretty hard here as well as we come off that 65 to 2700. And GM, we talked about that 2120. That's an add to our position. So you take some off in front of a key level. We add to it when it breaks 2120. Average price still pretty good, 2132. This is the flush you're looking for, guys. You take 21 out here, and next stop is that opening range bottom, 2070. So that's your ultimate target. You'll take some out in front of 21 even here at 2101. Nice win on GM. We'll hang on to the rest to see if we get that flush to 2070. Market falling off. We got only shorts on. This is why you get away from that long. Forget about it. We tried it in Disney. It's all about the shorts. They've been all working for us all morning long. Add GM to that list.
All about Disney. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Let's go here to our trades. You can see, guys, Disney right now. Check out this one. Good look, Neil. We're short $1.50 in the money right now on Disney and 20 cents in the money on Macy's. So we've only got 2 positions and they're both short. And our money right now is at the high of the day. So we throw that cash everywhere. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that as well with us. As here we go. Macy's back down $6, guys. Wow. We get some out in the 20s there. Not sure why. Drop all the way down to 6 and change. We're short 623. We are glad you guys are joining us. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm putting it in the chat. If you're watching us on Facebook, come over to YouTube, guys. That's what we're all about right now. As Macy's 21 cents in the money, looking to break $6. What a trade. Taking it off this low. That's how we do it live every day, guys.
And this is why you take some out on GM at that 21 even area. You got to identify some key levels when you're taking profits, because if you like the short and you like the trend, you want to be able to put that risk back on. So you get a little bounce here at 21, then we're able to reload. If we get any kind of a pullback into that original 21.20 break, that'll be fine. Otherwise, look, it goes right in the money for us. There's nothing wrong with that. Short and AKER still working for us, still working this GM trade. Gonna add to it if we get anywhere near that 21.20, but wow, it's 10:50 already. That means it's time for Money Talks with Brendan Wickens at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, let's talk some currency markets here. A little bit of positivity coming right across the board today with the U.S. dollar back to the downside. So anything compared to the U.S. dollar going to be in positive territory here. The euro up a full percent today. We were talking about 107 yesterday, now to 109 almost. The CAD, our Canadian dollar, 0.6% to the upside. Obviously, oil markets moving higher, going to help that out a little bit. 71.3 for the Canadian dollar. Wanted to keep an eye on the pound here. 123.16, up about 0.75%. This is a chart over here of the pound. We're still kind of in this consolidation between 122 and 124.5. Obviously, everyone waiting for an update on British Prime Minister Boris Johnson still in the ICU unit. So everyone kind of watching the pound just to see what is going to happen with that. But positive regardless, 0.73% now, 123 and change for the pound. Australia, really, really positive. Second day in a row here, 1.5% to the upside. Back above 60 cents. Late last week, we broke that to the downside. Got back above it yesterday, back to almost 62 there for the Australian dollar. New Zealand as well, following suit, up 0.8%. Crypto's pretty quiet again today. Bitcoin holding on to 7,300 here, 168 for Ethereum, 2.5% to the upside today. Guys, back over to you.
Good look there. This is why we update you guys on what everything that's happening in the market. There's lots of things that we might not be covering. Jump in that chat. Let us know what's interesting to you. We're going to tell you about the trades that we have on, the stocks that we are watching. Lots of them out there today. I'm going to talk about a GM, which I'm going to reload back into around that 21.20 mark. It's up around 11 or 12 we got to. Not quite into that 20 range. If we could have got those 15s, we would have slid back into some more shares. We'll see if we can't get that one again. It's been a good one for us. We just talked about that last trade we had. I'll go to that Momo that Brendan mentioned. Look, that was up. Again, it's a very similar structure. When the market roll over, find something making a defined top that you can sell. So we sold this one on the initial breakdown of this little range here, 22.65. We added to it at the top end of that range here at 75.66 is our price. It's now working its way down to VWAP. That's where our first out is going to be. Take a quarter off in front of VWAP. If we roll over completely here and fall off a cliff, yeah, we can get back to 22 on this one in a hurry. So Momo short here, 22.66, added to the list of shorts that we have on. I don't have any longs here, Sean. I don't know about you, but I can't find a good one.
I could probably find one, but you know what? Maybe Disney. We did get out down here, half of what we had left at $100.74. So that was $1 away from now. So yeah, maybe Disney coming back through this 102 here. But this ES though still falling. So Disney ought to move back up. Not even sure what this is about, considering what we are seeing right here in the market. So actually, maybe this is a nice little fade. But Disney making a move up here. Good thing we got out of half down there.
Sean, timber action on AKER. We still have the last 20% of this position, and it just halted. I'm not going to lie here, 6 pennies away from my out. I was on the bid at 665, looking to take $1.30 on the last 20% of this position, and it halts at 671. So look, it's a halt on the way down here. So we're hanging on to 795 as our last entry point there. We're gonna be very, very happy about this one. It's gonna open up at about 1058. We'll check back in. If it does open higher, we'll probably have to take it off immediately, but we're so deep in the money, there's nothing wrong with that. If it opens lower, watch out for 6 even. That was sort of the base right before the open. That's your ultimate target out for me. So if we get anywhere down close to that, you're talking about $1.80, almost $2 of a win. We'll be very, very pleased if we can get that. So watch this one at 1058 when it opens back up.
We just took a Disney short there, wondering what was going on. We'll see if it can't defend 102.30 or so, which is right here. So we take the short now, 101.86, basically the same price we had in the first place. We're going to give it up here, 102.40. Maybe this little bottom here, 102.20, the same as before. Not sure why this got rocketed up there on the Dow and the S&P moving down. Disney may be oversold on a weak name today. Although it's still up more than the market. Watch out for Disney. 102.40 will be my out on this name. We'll average in until then, but Disney 102.40 coming creeping up on that right now.
Yeah, good look over there in Disney. I mean, you got to go back to the names that are your best reads, that you're successful on. And ultimately, you know, if that's going to be the case on days like today, you play the trend, you play the names you're comfortable with, because there's so much opportunity that you just don't want to miss out by sort of overextending yourself, looking at too many things at once. I mean, this is a reason why I probably haven't traded a Zoom today. I just haven't had the best read on this trend, even though it's been to the downside. I'm just going to note here, it just held a higher low here at 110.50 or so. So watch out. I mean, Zoom looks like it's trying to make a bit of a bottom with the free fall in the futures. You need some help if you're going to take this one to the long side, but watch out. Zoom's just fallen so far. There's going to be a buy at some point. I want to see if we can catch that bid when it does happen. But for now, Brendan Wickens, what do you got, buddy?
Sea Change International down 20% today. Just looking for some relative weakness here. Moving southbound on earnings. They reported aftermarket yesterday. You can see thinly traded overall. Just got to 1 million shares, but 3 even. We're getting a little bounce back up to 3 even. Possibly might be an area to look to short. Sea Change International, guys.
Sea Change International, okay. We'll add that one to the list. I am waiting for about a minute or so when AKER is going to open back up, so I have to watch that closely. We'll check back in on General Motors there. We got to bounce off 2680 there in the futures, and that just slammed us to the upside. So. Yep. Got a second entry back into GM, of course, well, a third entry because we took it at the top here and then added on the way down to 2120. So another entry point here off of that 2120 level. That's going to be where our stop is going to be on GM. You don't want to turn too much of a winning trade into a loser. Our average price is now 16. So on the last entry here, we're risking about 5 pennies. Not a heck of a lot. As long as the trend continues, I think we're going to be just fine on General Motors. Still waiting for AKER to open up. Seconds away from that happening. So we'll want to make sure we're locked and loaded on that one.
Yeah, AKER, good look there. Disney, though, we get stopped at 50, but then we take some more shares short again and see there. It might have been a false break there at 50, so we'll wait to see if it breaks through 60 this time as we load up again. Yeah, it's too strong. Disney probably going to break through again here, this top side, which should be fine. We did take this one short, took all the money out, got out beautifully down here, realized it was very, very strong into what I thought was a big move here, but we'll wait to see here. If the futures keep going up, we'll obviously get out of, here we go, we're going to get out of this Disney trade very soon, breaking through 102.60. We tried the short here, guys. There we go. Disney not working out on the short side. We'll look to get something going, though. XOM maybe down on the downside right now. Let's take a quick look on XOM right now, 42 and change. This may be, again, we're only up 4%. We were up 6 or 7% at the day's high. XOM might be something good here if you do believe in this oil bounce. Oil's still up nearly 1%.
Another pop there. You had that move off 2680 in the ES just a moment ago, and GM popped up, gave us another entry. Momo popped upside, gave us another entry as well. So average price now fully in here at 2270. 85 was our stop. We're using that lower high, but I am locked and loaded on my screen. We're going to have AKER up here as it reopens. Want to see what we're going to get on this last 20% of our position. 795 is the short that we have. That was our last entry point. Again, it's all about those halts on the way up, and then finally failing to make a higher high. You get that consolidation lower, you work in on that consolidation, and this is what it's going to be all about here, guys. Codex, which we've been hanging on to for a while, wasn't doing anything. It broke 950, so that's the one short that looks like it's not going to work. Of course, we had the home run on that one earlier. The second trade, okay. The third trade, you're going to lose about 10 cents on that. Not the end of the world, but that story might be done until a little bit later on in the day. AKER still waiting for us to open up. Thought it would happen 5 minutes after the halt. It's now been 6. We're waiting patiently for to jump back into this one aggressively. Whether it's up or down, we got a plan of action that we talked about. Opens higher, we're probably going to take it right out. If it goes lower, 6 even is our target on AKER.
Yeah, AKER. Yeah, it's probably volatility halt there, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Did you check what it says on NASDAQ.com at all? Or?
Yeah, I was just about to check because I assumed volatility halt, but you should always check just to make sure. It is limit up, limit down. A lot of times that'll be 5 minutes, so we are waiting for it to open back up. But yeah, if you just check NASDAQtrader.com, as Sean mentioned, look for those active trade halts just to make sure you don't get caught off base. It'll tell you when the resumption time is. It'll tell you the reason for the halt. If you're caught, you just want to make sure you're not trading blind, you know what's going on. But right now, it's 11 o'clock. We need to get to our European update at the big screen with Valeria.
Hey guys, welcome to the European update. Europe is overall in positive territory for the second day for this week. Just Russia down 0.16%. Well, Britain is up 1.82%, Germany is up 2.25%, France is up 1.36%, and Spain is up 1.47%. Some quick news from Europe. Carnival shares are the biggest mover in London after Saudi Arabia's wealth fund PIF disclosed an 8.2% stake in Carnival Corporation on Monday. Authorities in Paris have banned outside exercising during the daytime from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. starting tomorrow. Well, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson have been tested positive with the coronavirus lately, and now he's been moved to intensive care in hospital after his symptoms worsened. His spokesperson said that he moved on recommendations of his doctors and getting a really good care. That's all for now, and I'll keep you updated. Back to Brandon.
All right, guys, 11 o'clock, time for trade of the day. We're going to jump into a bit of a review session. We'll talk about one of the trades that either Neil or Sean took in the first hour or so this morning. Going to be Sean today talking about Carnival. We got the news late yesterday. Saudi investment firm coming out saying they were taking a huge stake in CCL. So CCL was leading the way in the pre-market anyway. As far as the cruise lines go, RCL has since popped up above them. But big time strength on all of these cruise lines in the pre-market today. Sean was all over it. He's ready to go over at the TV.
Oh man, yeah, welcome to the trade of the day. You're going to see a lot of executions, and before we start, every single one of these red ticks, and I hope you can see that they're the arrows down, those red ticks are sell orders, right? And so it means we're already long. We already own the shares, and we've now come in ahead and sold them. When you see this little tick right here, I hope you can see that as well. That's purple. A purple down arrow means we short sold, and obviously here, short selling means you borrow it from your broker. We do get a lot of questions on that. If you're unable to borrow stock, you may want to decide to switch broker, especially on a day like today with CCL moving around. But maybe I'll have to move over to this side here. You can see CCL still up 14%. This is kind of the pre-market, and we get into a little bit of a range. We don't take pre-market trades. However, the bottom was 12, so we did have a nice little $12 mark there. So I felt pretty comfortable once we broke through. This wasn't where VWAP was. This is VWAP. A lot of you guys asking, this is a 1 minute chart. You are going to see though, 12 was holding, as was 12.05. You can see it kept bouncing up here on 12.05. As soon as that broke, I decided, hey, what the heck? Let's take a few shares here in the pre-market. We take it long 12.06. Let's run the first clip as it's a pre-market clip. I'm already really huge here, guys. We're already long 12.06. A couple hundred shares here. It's at 12.34. So nice way to start the day. We're absolutely monstrous. Check us out on Twitter, guys. I've been tweeting out this chart. I talked about it in the morning. Check out this big buy imbalance here, 3.25 million shares. We talked about that in the morning as well. So hopefully you're on it. Look at this, guys. CCL, this is how you trade. 12.06 long. And we still have 70%, 80% of our trade just ding, 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 taking out little by little. Now at 12.40. So this may already be the trade of the day, and it hasn't even opened the markets yet, Brendan. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, and we mentioned that about it being trade of the day. And the only reason why is because it was just structured right. Brendan talked about some news coming through. This made this easier than we even thought, just taking the 12 long. And actually, if you do look at this all the way through down here, 12 basically has been pretty rock solid until we decide to go short eventually. That's not going to be on the following clips. But basically, as it's going up here, this is all happening. The market doesn't even open until you see this big mark here. This is 9:30. We actually take this at 8:40, so it's a big early trade, and that's why we just start piecing it out. We notice some resistance up here around 12:30. That tends to hold true the whole way. As soon as we get the break above here, happening about 9:42, then you start seeing some action to the top side. We layer an order rate down there. I hope we have that clip as well. Why don't we run the next clip and see what we're discussing as we start to get out of more and more of our shares. Hit the floss and the confetti. We're still long here at 12.05. So we just take some out there, 12.36, and bang, there it is, 12.45. These little ticks here is where we're getting out. So I have some orders layered here because, guys, we do have this big, huge buy imbalance right now, 3.7 million shares. So we're running Carnival all the way up. I told you I don't normally take too much risk in the pre-market. This one just looked too easy because I had 12 as a bottom. So boom, right up there, a quick little 39-cent winner to start the day, and we still got 40%, guys. So there it is. So we talked about it once again there, having that 12 as a bottom. And I think that Neil and I do a good job every day, and hopefully you guys are learning with us as well. We're learning as well that you need to find the key levels in order to get out, because look, anybody can make a trade. Anyone can hit a key, right? It's just a matter of, is it structured properly so that you can win in the long term? This trade may or may not have worked, but the point was we saw a level, we take the long, and then Brendan, we just start piecing it out. You hear me talk about layering orders. That's why you get all these random ticks at random prices. We're just putting orders there. Remember, we don't trade retail. We're trading direct to the market. So if we're using a gateway like an EDGX, an ARCA, a NASDAQ, whatever it happens to be, we do add liquidity and get those rebates. So uncertain of all of these wicks, some of these are 20, 30 pennies in 1 second. So again, depending on the shares you have, profitable decisions need to be made.
And the other benefit from that, obviously, you're going to get better prices, so it may not be noticeable right up front, but over time, if you start being passive with your take profits, throwing orders into the market and letting the market come to you instead of aggressively punching out of a trade, over time, that money is going to add up. So a great point there from Sean. Let's go to the next clip.
But there goes CCL, big time winner, over 12.50 now. So big move happening in CCL. We take this one to the bank, guys. I hope you enjoyed this trade. Back over 12.50. We're long at 12.06 from the pre-market. Let's go. Okay, so here we go, guys. It does finally break above. And if you're looking to say why are we getting excited there, it's because, again, just like the bottom is 12, the key level, again, I love 12.50. So here's that level right here, 12.50. We get out a little bit in front. Then when it breaks above, we enjoy the upside to that trade, getting some out 12.70, 12.75. Brennan hit the nail right on the head that if you layer your orders, it does give you that option of getting the best prices, right? A lot of the times you're going to see, sure, we take 20, 30 pennies, and then the stock runs 50 pennies. If you're just holding like even 10%, which seems to be the common number that I like to hold, even if you get that extra little, 1 or 2% on the stock, something like that can move, it can make a big deal at the end of the day to your net. And I think we did a pretty good job here of getting that. The one trade I did want to show you guys here, and it does happen, and I think it might be the next clip, Brendan. It comes all the way back down to this level, 12.05 again. And actually, I think it's 12.10 or something that it hits right here. We miss it. So we get out there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, what happened to Carnival? Remember, me and Neil obviously are trading a lot of different names, and thank you for those, but sometimes we miss some of these moves. So I say, what happened here? Then you park an order. So I let it be. We come back 10 minutes later. Is it 10? Maybe 6 or 7 minutes later. And all of a sudden we get that miraculous fill again, because it does make that move back down in 1 minute. And we're able to pick up. This is actually quite a decent amount of shares right here, because I never thought we'd get to that. So we pick up some more shares and then enjoy it riding up. Let's run that last clip and then go back to Brendan for comment on this. Yeah, exactly. Good call on that one. Okay, here comes CCL right back. So thank God we're out of this one. We have very, very small amount of shares left. Look at this big crack down here on CCL. I did want to look at XOM as well in a minute. But here goes Carnival Cruise right back to the bottom. Who knows what we can do here? But if we could take out to the backside again, maybe 12. There we go. I was going to say 12.30. We just took that. That might be a decent long here. But your outs are still going to have to be around $12. So you're going to have to make sure that you're able to take the profit out and hold if something does go against you here on CCL. But right now it looks like it's bouncing around. If it comes back to this 12.06, we'll load up. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we did crash all the way down to 12.10 there. Okay, so let's put some bids in case that happens again.
Yeah, I mean,
Perfect. Shout out to Lucas there. Absolutely fantastic job of pulling that clip. We talked about it going back to 12.06 there, and we would reload. And that is exactly, Brendan, what happened. We parked that order right there at 12. I don't know. I think it's 12.09, 12.10, something like that. I don't like to do the ultimate bottoms. I said 12.06. That was this trade. I can miss it by a few pennies, and that would be completely fine. 12 is still our bottom. We've made so much money up here that we're not really too worried if we do get out and hit on this position. But look, you put the order there, Brendan, park it, and then look what happens. It's a big time win, second time around on Carnival.
Yeah, same sort of story, obviously. Instead of aggressively crossing the market and removing shares, Sean, just leaving an order there and seeing what happens. If you get filled, you get a great trade. If not, oh well, stock continues to the upside. I want to talk about that short opportunity as well. We'll get to the clip here in a second, but maybe when we come back from the clip, Sean, you can talk a little bit about why you then decided to flip and go short. Let's go to the next clip.
CCL has been a monster, the biggest cash grab for me today by far here. CCL, we're just taking some out here at 50. We're reloaded. Look, once down here, 12.05. Then again, 12.13. We gave you this trade once we saw this happen, and bang, all the way back up here, 12.50. We're very, very light now. We only have 10% of this position left. So we'll wait to see and get that out right now. 12.60, 12.70. I'll see if we can't hold a little bit to see if we can't get to the top of the day here. But right now, wow, what a big win for this and XOM, guys. Yeah, does that guy ever shut up or what? Yeah, hopefully, thank God that's the last clip. Look, I hate these. I like doing the trade of the day, but I'd rather be trading. So let's hurry up and go back. Yeah, you can see we take this out. And again, like I said, it's a decent amount of shares. It's actually quite a large position. We get them out here again for like 10, 15 pennies, and then hold about 20 or 30% all the way up here. Brendan, you want to know about this one? To me, this was sort of easy trade. We see it coming all the way back down. We do question ourselves when we do take it initially because, again, this is the same short that we basically liked long. However, and again, I should have overlaid based on this question a futures chart. The market was crashing. We did have AAL, Delta, a few different names. I know we talked about them. Royal Carnival as well, Royal Cruise there on the downside as well, Royal Caribbean on the downside there. So I'm nervous about it, which is why you see a lot of ticks out here for 3, 4, 5 penny winners. I'm wondering if it is going to defend this 12 spot, but we do go short there. I think it's about 12.05, 12.06. We get out, and then obviously you're going to see what happens. It does crack down below, and we get this very great wick here, about 11.80. So we turn around, short the stock, flip the switch on that one. There's about 50 or 60 fills today. So here we go, getting short and getting out, building into our net. There's not a losing trade on this board, as you can see. Long and out, short and out, and now we wait on Carnival. You know what? If we're going to talk about right now, look at this level right here, 12.20, 12.25 to break. Also breaking VWAP. That's your trade of the day.
Yeah, I love the idea of identifying some relative weakness there. When we had that second push back up to the highs of the day, it kind of failed to make a new high. It did make a new high, but just barely. And then we kind of reversed on a dime, as Sean was saying, with the overall market, moved all the way back through the range. So it gave you lots of opportunity to identify some weakness there with the market moving down and put the short on. So all kinds of opportunity in the cruise lines today. Carnival, your trade of the day for Tuesday. Let's go back to the guys.
Thanks a lot there, Brennan. And just quickly was mentioning in the chat for you guys, they're just looking at Tesla for the first time today. You can see had that huge move to the upside all the way to 566. It's put in a lower high first at 553. Another one here at just below this 550 mark. So, you know, I see the futures trying to take 2,700. The structure of this trade is you only risk about $3 or $4 plus slippage. In here short at 46, and we can add at 48 or 49. And then if we don't hold 2,700 to the upside, I think we have a chance to fall back down at least $10 or so. So very, very quick, easy trade here if you like to play that 2,700 area. The other thing that I was also looking at was our delta back at 2,350 or so. So going to take one shot here at Tesla in front of 550 even, and that 2,700 level on the ES there, Sean.
Yeah, I left with Disney position and it went $1 plus in the money, and now we fall back down. So we take another long here. We did get executed out. I think that's just before we left. Then it goes up about $1 and so. So we re-engage in this position. I do like this Disney long. We see it's up 3.3%. We were short all up here. Then we reversed it to the long side, and now we take another long right now, and a nice little winner here on Disney long, 102.61. So it's a nice little 50-cent winner that we just take on right now on Disney. Watch these futures go going. Neil just talked about it breaking through 2,700. We may need to take some profit out here as Disney with a nice little move. 103.20 is where we resisted last time, guys.
Yeah, and a quick look over here, guys. We're going to take that last shot until it's in front of 550. We mentioned another stock we like to the long side if we held 2,700. One was Pfizer. We took Disney the first time. I liked Pfizer a little better. We're going to jump into that one at 34 in front of that price. 34.17 we just got in. I like that 34 even area. So as Tesla falls off, we take that last short there at 49.40. Let's see if 2,700 holds. We'll take the one short off. Now we're starting to really like to work into some of these long positions for the first time of the day. I talked about XOM in the chat while you guys are doing Trade of the J. 42 was a nice level. You got a bit of a double bottom that got made in oil here, which I kind of like. You'll see here, we get a nice little double bottom at 26.20. So XOM is attractive to be able to pick up as long as we hold that low. 42 gives you a tremendous amount of support. When I sat down, it was the only level I really liked on XOM. So add that one to the list. It just cracked VWAP now, so you can maybe work into it in this range, 42.30 to VWAP as a long trade, adding to that Pfizer trade that we just took on. Brendan, what do you got, buddy?
PSTI, guys, another one moving around today. Nice look here, back to 4 even. Let's see what happens at 4 even. This one's got all the way up to about 5.5 today. They announced some positive momentum and positive developments with their COVID-19 vaccine as far as human trials are concerned. So nice look here, 22% for PSTI, guys.
PSTI. Okay, we just take out some Disney there. Look, I mean, what a great opportunity. I was able to sit right back down and take this Disney long here, 102.70. And then we talked about, look at this high, guys. 103.20 was right here. I'll zoom this out a little bit. 103.20 was right here. This was also the high there. So when we get right back to it, we take our 50 cents, we hit the siren, and we throw the cash around a little bit as well, because Disney with the cash register today, nice little win there. And then it fades back down and we take some out on a 103 break. So right now we're super light on Disney. And I come back also to a Macy's short. Check this one out. We run Macy's today as well. This was a very similar trade to CCL where we go long, breaking the high of the day in a rallying market. That was fantastic. And then as the market pulls back around 10:45, we go short and then crush it again. I mean, look at these outs down here, right at $6 on Macy's, like shorting 624 and then getting out right at $6. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, guys. You resist that $6 break and it works to a T and fits like a glove. Does anybody know where that's from? Put that in our chats.
That's too easy, Sean. If they don't get that one, then I don't know what to say, but that's a great one there. I talked about Pfizer. I could actually add to some of this on the way up here. We failed at VWAP on the first move. I think we've now made this nice little higher bottom, and the market, trying to get back above that 27. Pfizer was a name that I liked on a dip. Tried to be patient all morning before bottom picking on this name, but we're now taking our shot here below VWAP. Not going to take profit unless it breaks. So I want to see it take out this 34.30 top end here. Then we can start thinking about any profit taking. Otherwise, we're long in front of 34 on Pfizer. But I think we got Brendan Wickens. What do you got there, buddy?
I mentioned this one earlier, guys. IQ down 3% on the day. Huge flush out here from 17.20 down to 14.5. There was a short seller throwing some rumors around on the internet about some fraud allegations. But back above 16 here for IQ. All kinds of volume behind this move, though, guys.
IQ, okay, we're going to look at that one for sure. IQ, a great little name. And yeah, Brendan wants in on that action, apparently, on our chat. But no, okay, we're going to go upside here in the market. As you can see, we are trying to hold this 2,700. We never know what's around the corner here. So I would love to see us take out this 2,710. Otherwise, we're going to dump our Disney long, which we still have on, and we only have 20% of our initial position. I do see some people asking us about how many shares we trade, and yeah, someone answered there that it does vary. And of course, on a stock like Macy's, you'll hit that for a couple thousand, depending. It's under $5, $6, $7, $10. A stock like that, NIO, the same thing. But then when you're trading a stock like Disney, that can move $2 or $3 on you. We don't put everything at risk. Basically, I look to make or lose something around. If you make $1,000 on a day, that's good. So a lot of our trades here for for me, won't go too much more than about 20-25% against us on our daily risk. But again, these numbers vary every single day. We have no idea what's going to happen, and we just trade the market. When you have volatility, shout out to Arun, who was on earlier, you got to put risk on, right? And I think that right now, a lot of you guys that are watching the show would agree, this is obviously a big risk on moment for us here on Trader TV Live. So if you're trading the markets, put risk on with us, and I hope that you'll be rewarded, especially when you get these 7% moves in the S&P.
Yeah, exactly, Sean. If you're fortunate enough to be able to trade in this environment, this is sort of what you live for here. I'm just going to go back and circle back to a name that Brendan gave us, which wasn't interesting for me before, but it's looking a little bit now, and that's that YGYI. It had multiple halts on the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, too many halts to count, but all within this $150 to $190 range. Now it's actually holding at the bottom end of the range here. You got this 160 potential break to the upside. You also have some room to the downside as well. So gonna jump in and see if we can get some locates. I like to break topside at 160 for a test of that high. Otherwise, we're gonna slide into some shorts. But it's 11:20, and I know you guys want to tune in for this. Let's check out Valeria at the big screen for In Focus.
Hey guys, welcome to In Focus, and here's some coronavirus update. Total number of deaths grew to, just a second. Yeah, here you can see on the chart, total number of cases globally grew to 1,367,925. The most cases are in the United States with 370,397 cases. And the epicenter of coronavirus cases is New York City. Well, New York City government, Andrew Cuomo, said that he is going to raise the fine for violating the self-distancing rule up to $1,000 American dollars. The reason is that too many New Yorkers are not taking self-distance rule seriously, he said. Also, Cuomo said that he is going to ask President Donald Trump to allow the U.S. Navy hospital ship Comfort to serve patients with the coronavirus to relieve the pressure from the New York hospitals. Originally, plan was that Comfort will serve on the opposite, patients who are not sick with the coronavirus. U.S. health officials tested around 150,000 Americans sick with the coronavirus, and 1.7% of them are under 18 years old age. States are now postponing elections, and U.S. lawmakers are thinking how to process the presidential election in the epicenter of pandemic. For example, Nancy Pelosi is pushing for vote and mail to protect people from the public gatherings. Well, that's all for now. Stay healthy, stay home, and stay in focus. Back to the traders.
Thank you very much there, Valeria. A quick look, I talked about just before that throw, YGYI on that 160 break. I should have got a better price here. We got 165 on the break, was a little bit slow as I was verbally telling you guys about it. Maybe you could have had 61, 62, but you do get a little bit of a pop here. 190 was that top. I actually would have preferred this if it doesn't break and flush to the downside. I love those plays a little bit better when you're up 130%, 130% as I look at it right now. But we're going to try and ride this one at least towards that high of the day. I'm not sure it has the legs to get there. Just saw a big seller step in at 170. Gonna have to go with a VWAP stop. No extension of that trade. And again, I prefer the short, but it doesn't mean you can't take the long break, which we have. So got that one to the long side. We also have, and you know what? Let's just go position board on. An update on some of the positions we have. We just talked about YGYI, so we'll throw this up here. We do have Pfizer, got into that one at 34.20. Also have that position in XOM in front of 42.30 or so. We got 50 as our price. I'd love to be able to get a better price than what we have right now, but not going to let 42.30 get taken out. Why? Because we cannot have any buying above 2,700. Let's sustain this level for a little bit and actually have some longs work out. It's been only short side working for us so far today. Let's see if a couple of these longs can work.
Yeah, just seeing a few people on the chat here. Yeah, good job. Does anybody still have Codex? Yeah, we will be figuring that out for you guys. Disney right now looking, look, I take a little small short now. We'll see if it can hold this 102.90 area. If not, we'll flash out of that one. So like you're mentioning, this is just a couple hundred shares right now. Short Disney right here, 102.66 is where we're short. So there you go. You want to know about how many shares we have? That's that for that. For me anyways, 166.25, that's been the bounce off spot here for Microsoft. Great little battle back on this stock. It was beat down to 164 and change. So we're going to wait to see if it can take out 160.30. But here we go to the downside now as Disney starting to explode a little bit. We're short 66, like I said. We'll see if we can't get down. I'll take the first leg off here at 47 and then wait to see if we get a fall back down to 102 even. This has been the breaking spot, 102.50. Maybe we'll just layer some out and then wait to see if we get a drop.
Brandon Winkins, what do you got, buddy?
El Dorado Resorts, guys, having another nice day here. ERI on the NASDAQ, still 10.5%, although we're trending to the downside. Got all the way up here to 17.5 early on a couple of times this morning, but just breaking back down through 15.5. Watch 15 should be some support, but El Dorado Resorts, ERI, looking quite strong today, guys.
Yeah, definitely a good look, and just ran into a bit of a rather large seller here on YGYI. So I'm going to immediately take the profit offer. About, you're only going to get 8 cents on that trade. It's a dollar stock, but massive seller showed up here at 73, 74, 75. So I just take it off. Again, I told you why I like the short a little bit better than the long. You can take those long breaks, but ultimately I'm not anticipating on the volume that it's been doing and the liquidity that we can maybe get a run to that 190. That leaves me, as XOM breaks 430, with only one long position, and it was the one that I started with, as Pfizer was the long I liked the most. It's the only one I have on. We cannot sustain any buying in this market. We're going to have to look to put on some shorts again if we can't sustain anything here. But Pfizer has managed to hold this 34.10 area, in below VWAP. So 10 to 30s is the range. My price is right in the middle at 34.20, support at 34 even. Double bottom that got made a little bit higher on the second retest at 11 o'clock. So some things working for us here in Pfizer. It's only down 1%, so actually could catch up with the market here that's still holding up 2%. This is why we like this name. It's our only long that seems like it wants to work out for us, but we got to find some shorts. If we roll back over at 2,700, we're not going to only drop 20 handles like we did the first time. We're looking for a bigger fall if that doesn't hold.
Yeah, Pfizer, good look there. Were you long or short that name?
Long there at 20.
Okay, yeah, good, yeah. Pfizer, yeah, bouncing off the market here. Bouncing with the market is Disney as well. This is why we take out a little bit of our trade here at 102.50. We talked about that as being the, resistance. I mean, look how many times 102.50 resisted. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down here. Now we're back up to the top side. So it should have probably emptied the purse out there, but we'll wait to see. We're going to get taken out. I'm not going to hold this. This is too much of a resistance spot down here. So we will get out of Disney in case this market does blow up. Okay, talk about blowing up. We are now into Microsoft blowing up upside here. Let's see if this one can't get going through 166.25. We talked about that. It does get as high as 40 there. Microsoft reversed that one long. So much more now involved with Microsoft than we are Disney. Let's go.
Yeah, giddy up there on Pfizer. I talked about not taking anything off until you've broken through VWAP there. So first quarter out at 34.34. We actually got that one out. Their average price was 19, so 15 pennies on the first little bit. You're looking for a push back up towards that 27.40. Anywhere near that high should give you the opportunity on Pfizer to sort of retest this 34.65 area that was a little bit of a hump on the way down. So that's your ultimate target, at least for me. For half the shares, you can let the last quarter of it ride. As it slides in the money, you might think of something like a trailing stop. I'll probably move it if we slide past 50 into VWAP as an out there. So nice little structured trade. Was the only long I really had confidence in. That's why we had a tight stop on XOM, took that one off. YGYI, we took that one off, that small cap. Not going to follow the market as much, so you can kind of throw that one away when you get this move up in the market. Those play to the beat of their own drum. You don't want to get too caught up on the ES is doing if you're trading a small cap like a YGYI. But Pfizer is going to follow along. If we test those highs, hang on to that long if you got it, guys.
I mean, I'd hold on to a long, and we are trying to do that right now with Microsoft. I told you we're out of that Disney, so we don't fall in the hole at all. We lose like 20 bucks or something on that Disney trade. Microsoft, though, straight to the top side. I love this name. This is my favorite stock. We are long now 166.30 as it breaks above 50. I told you, these are the kind of spots here where you put a little more shares in on names that you like, and now we go Microsoft to the top side now, breaking through. We'll see, though, if I can zoom this chart out. This is just a 1 minute chart here. I'm looking to get back to this VWAP 166.80. I know that would be a big move, and I don't know if the futures have it in itself right now. We need to get above this little spot right here where we wick down 27.15. We've talked all about that. Right now we're at 11.12. So if this can get going, I do believe Microsoft takes out this 50, and then hopefully we get back upside here 167. But it is struggling right now. Let's see if the futures can't hold this spot.
Yeah, exactly. And we have the energy here, guys. And if we can break back up towards those highs, believe me, we're going to get even more excited with some of these long positions here. I know Greg, one of you guys, was mentioning about Delta. I've only shorted this name so far today. But you have put in a very, very strong bottom at 23, even just snapping back when it took it the first time. Now you're getting some consolidation higher. Look, it's still up 5%. The entire airline space is up on the day. It's just had relative weakness. Uncle Warren jumping away from this name. So let's have a quick look. If this can take out 23.80, maybe you get some juice to the upside. Oddly enough, I actually had one level written down on this. On 23.80 was that pre-market bottom. It was an ultimate target I had for my short outs. Now we can take that to the upside as a key level. It makes me like it even more. Let's get that run to the upside, but hasn't happened yet. Let's go to Brendan Wickens. What do you got at the big?
Another one, guys. Moving to the upside here. Pay sign, PAYS on the NASDAQ here. 33% move. Just making a new high on the day, pushing up towards 7 even. They got a couple of upgrades today. Also to note, no update on that Luckin yet. I do have a window open waiting for any kind of news on LK, but nothing yet, guys.
They don't want us to have fun on Luckin. Luckin was doing so much volume yesterday that you had to like switch gears. I was trying to hold trades for bigger wins, and then in the afternoon realized, forget about it. Just up your share size and take smaller trades. But now we can't even do anything with that name, so unfortunately we have to take a step away. Another sort of an IPO high flyer, well it was anyways, a Smile Direct Club. I haven't looked at it yet, but interesting little consolidation. It's down 3% on the session. As the market moves up here, watch out for a bit of a break here on SDC at about 412 or so. I mean, it's got beaten up, but let's watch a 412 break to the upside. I'll go back to the long that's working for us. I only took a quarter out so far on our Pfizer trade. Negative to positive will be at 34.57, so I'll take some shares off. We can probably have a second wave that stalls out at that price. If we get some consolidation, we'll take the next quarter out in and around there for about 35 to 40 cents on Pfizer, holding out for the second half of bigger move. As I just note here, YGYI just halted upside, so I guess it did have the juice to get to 190. I took mine off for 10 cents. There's 24 here if it held on. Now it's halted again, and it could take the top off. That will be one to watch in 5 minutes when it opens back up.
And guys, yeah, Microsoft, obviously we hit the siren there. Big time cash register win on that one. And check out what we did on Disney. You can see we talked about getting out. We reversed long 103, and then look where we get out again right there on Disney off of our long 103.20. And if you want to break this down again, you know, you're going to miss more upside, but that's okay because we have softy. But you can see 103.20 was right here, then it was right here, and here again where we got out of our initial long there, and then we go long again 102.90 and get out 103.19 there. So a nice little scalp win to the upside. Looks like this will break, so I think we might have to switch over there, Blake, to Disney long. It looks like it wants to get through 103.50, which is fine. We have a 40-cent winner right now on Microsoft long 166.32 and been taking that one out. You guys can see this is that break. It breaks through 166.20. Like we said, we go long and bang, 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 all the way to the top side, where now we're still holding about 40% of our long, and yeah, we're getting closer and closer, guys, to the goal. But 166.8 right now, looking like a top side. Like I said, if we rewind the tape about 5 minutes, we said we wanted to get to this VWAP, which is 166.90. Right now we're at 166.70 on softy. What's up, Brendan?
DPW, mentioned this one a little bit earlier, guys. We got up to 170 here. This is when we were talking about it. Did give you that second push all the way to almost $2. Looks like we're setting up again. Came back in, held 170 on the pullback. DPW trying to get back to day highs, guys.
Yeah, that was actually a good one for me off the open. Haven't revisited it because, look, there's just been too many other good names to watch, and you can see we've been trading along here. Just Pfizer I have, but I'm looking at Peloton here. I'm staring you in the face. Big flush off of the open. You got a second leg to the downside, and then just hits a wall at 26, bounces back a buck. Look at this nice consolidation we have in Peloton, down almost 5%. Market's trying to bounce back here. I like this break here through 27.25. When that happens, you're going to see it trigger long. You know, whether that's now, whether that's 5 minutes from now, whether it's an hour from now, we're going to have that stop order locked and loaded. I think it's an easy run to about 28 at least. If we can catch that 27.25 long trade in Peloton, we're going to go ahead and do that. Volume good, 3 million shares, so no reason not to jump into that. YGYI, we're still waiting for that one to reopen. Give it about 3 or 4 minutes or so, but if it takes the top off, we're definitely looking at that one as well as that DPW that you mentioned there, Brennan.
Yeah, YG, like I said, I got to keep looking over at some of these random high flyers. They're good ones. 166.70, that's right where we're at right now. We just keep watching Softy. I have an order up here near 167, so we'll see if we can't get out of that as well. What is this? Deadliest day in coronavirus crisis, I'm seeing from Brendan. Yeah, well, we know that. I mean, and tomorrow's going to even be more deadly as, you know, the longer these cases go on. Unfortunately, the more deaths there's going to be. But I thought that they had reported less new cases, but I'm not sure on that one. So we'll find out. Here goes Softy straight up, and we get out right there. What was that price we just got out at? You're going to see 166.79. So that's another 50-cent winner. And here we go, 167. Microsoft now going to the top side. This is exactly what we talked about. We wanted this VWAP break, and now we get it. So 166, 167 on the way up. Big time winner here, all over the place. I realized that I still have this Macy's trade, so we get out there at 16.15 off of this short. I thought we cashed out of everything down here, but we still had a small amount of shares, so we'll get out of Macy's and enjoy a 70-penny winner right now on Softy. Your guy has it. We love this name. Not early on, but Microsoft for the win today. What a big trade here, guys.
What an interesting chart pattern I'm seeing here on SHOP. Just looking at it here in New York, you look at it in Toronto as well. It's down 2%, but look at this bottom at 376. Top end of the range, 385 even, holding, I mean, like an absolute wall. One test, two, now three tests it's had at that 385. So that could be another break to the upside. We just talked about Peloton possibly taking that one as well to add to our long positions. If you're looking for short plays, you know, I'm going to jump you back into some, relatively weak names throughout, the last few sessions, but it's going to be that delta. And I know, Greg, you were looking at that long. If we can't break above 24 and we roll over here in the futures, I'm probably going to be shorting this one once again. So I don't want, it's not to bet against you, but I have to have something in play if we retest 2,700. It can't only be longs on a rollover. We're jumping back into Delta short, but Shopify like that 385. Pfizer we already have long, and YGYI just reopened here, 195. Looks like it's going to take the top off. 2 even should be an interesting break.
Yeah, it's going to do 2 even right now, YGYI. We'll get that up to you guys so you can see it. I guess it's on NASDAQ or it's on AMEX.
Yeah, NASDAQ.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, 190, so we are coming through here. What is your long, or you're out of that?
No, it hasn't broken 2 even, guys. Got to 198 and then just stalled out. So, look, you're looking to see after those halts, can it actually take the top off? If it actually holds lower, I'm usually looking for retracement shorts. And
bye-bye, Softy.
Thank you very much, Valerio. We got our, I can't even count, it's like 3rd, 4th, 5th coffee, whatever it is, but I got to put it down because here comes 2 even. That's the level we're looking at here on YGYI.
Yeah, and sorry, we call up, 2 even just broke right there. Look at this Microsoft trade, guys. Out 167.16. So that is market green. And thank you, Valeria, for the coffee there. Cheers. We'll get that out there, 167.20. And we'll flip back over to Neil's. We'll see what's going on with YGYI.
Yeah, 2 even just breaks. We got slipped to 05. I think you got to give this one till, not the halt. I mean, the halt was 189, but it did make a bit of a bottom a little bit lower than that. So you can work with a 186 as a bit of a base there. So I have 2 long positions on. One I care about the market with. That's going to be Pfizer. The other I don't. I'm just going to play those key levels. Maybe have a look at liquidity as well. So YGYI, a couple of longs here. Wish I'd held the first one. We'll see what we can do with the second long. We're playing with house money. 10 cents on the first one. I'm going to risk 20 on this one. So if it does break the bottom, we will go negative on this stock. I just think the upside is tremendous. this. I've seen some of these run. You go to the daily chart, there's nothing until you get about to 250. Let's see if we can make a run to that price.
Yeah, I just take a long right now as well. We're long now 08 and we're at 13. So we'll see what happens here. A nice little decent bid, but it seems like we're resisting this 13. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, they're pounding this 12. So watch out for this to go. There we go, all the way back down to 02. So yeah, volatile right now.
Very volatile
on YGYI. So watch out right now. It just have a problem breaking through 13. So we know we need to get above $2.13. You saw that live, that 13 holding. Watch out for this ARCA down here at $2. Even if that breaks, you're going to be in trouble. But here we go. We're going to test once again $2.13. This is where we're long, both of us right now. We'll see if we can make some rock and roll happen here. The high of the day, that 213 needs to break. Let's go 213.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take 20% off at 13 after I see it hold the first time, but I'm still looking for a run. We look at the daily chart, 250. If we're going to hold this 185 to 2 even area, then it's going to be 250 as your ultimate target, at least on a play like this. I mean, you got to figure we have a shot at it. There is some heavy selling that jumps in here, and I saw an arc at 13 and another one jump in now at 11. So you got to chew through some of that before you break to the upside. If you look at the level too much, you can kind of get mesmerized by the sell action and how much volume is going through. I don't want to have that happen to me. But Peloton just triggered in here, guys. So I talked about that long through 27.25. There is the trigger. There is the top that is held. Now we're into this long as well. So Peloton 27.27. Add that to the list of longs we have. So we got a small cap YGYI. We got Pfizer still 34.20. That's in the money for us, about 20 pennies, has been for a little while. And now Peloton, we take on a break to the upside. So let's see if we can't sustain some of these moves.
We are getting ready to have Rahim Alani, a good friend, and has been one of our oldest guests to support the show. So what's up to Rahim? You're going to see him soon from OCI Group. They're going to be talking about energy stocks, coronavirus, and retail. So there you go. So those are going to be exciting. YGYI breaks down above 2, below 2. We get out of some there. We're going to wait to see if it does take that 13 out again, and we have to wait for that. So we'll wait on that one. Microsoft still $1 winner right now. Well, sorry, 85 cents as it's pulled back a little bit. We're long Microsoft 166.32 right now. So hoping that we can get a clean dollar on that one. It looks like we will, but it's been a big day for us. Obviously, if you're watching the show, you'll note that Apple, a negative stock, and Disney, a negative stock, but everything else, XOM, Macy's, you saw CCL, and CCL were huge on that one as well. But okay, without any further ado, we've teased it a couple times. Let's get it over to Brendan with our guest of the day, guys.
All right. Hey, guys. Yeah, really happy to have our good friend Rahim Alani from OCI Groups back on the show. First time on YouTube Live with Rahim Alani. So we'll do a quick introduction when we get Rahim up, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the fundamentals for the companies that we look at here in the Canadian landscape. So as far as Canadian markets are concerned, some of the stocks we're dealing with, some of the stocks that have been hurt so badly over the past couple of months as far as this move to the downside goes. There is Rahim. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Brendan. How are you doing?
Good, man. We're obviously continuing our social distancing and efforts to keep everyone safe and healthy. And Rahim, good to speak to you, obviously. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had you back on the show. I hope you and yours are all doing well.
Yeah, likewise to you and your family, and to Sean and Neil and all the guys. And tell Sean I'm not the oldest guest I hope that you guys have had on.
I think he heard you, so he might respond. He might respond on his own. Let's jump right into things here, Rahim. Lots to get to, obviously. I mean, the market, we don't have to talk about the overall market. I mean, it's just been a wild place to be over the past month or so. As a result, a lot of the individual names that we look at on a frequent basis here in the Canadian landscape on the Toronto stock market getting crushed as well. Some of the retailers specifically, we'll start in the retail end of the story, really going to be hurt by this quarantine and the closure and the reduced hours right across the board, and people in general just staying home and staying away from the stores, staying away from spending the money. Some of these that we're going to talk about do have an online presence, but I want to mention that in a second. But why don't we jump into things here with Aritzia? Tell us about Aritzia.
Yeah, so to your point, a lot of these ones that we will talk about are being adversely affected by coronavirus, and there's nothing much that they can do about it. Some of them are supplementing that with online sales. I think you said we'll talk about that in a second for sure. So Aritzia has been a a stock that's come off its highs. So if you look at their chart, they traded between 920 and 2637, currently sitting at about $12. You're 55% off of your high, which is remarkable for a company that's generating good sales, and they have an online presence. They've obviously had to close their stores with everything that's going on. But again, to your point, online sales are going to be important for a company like this in a time like this. They've grown their revenue quarter over quarter. They're up 10% on revenue. Net income's up 7%. Over the last 5 years, Aritzia has sort of been a darling from that point of view, that the revenue's gone up 78% over the last 5 years, and earnings per share up 154%. So from an operational level, they've done very well. Obviously, the dip that you're seeing there on the chart is attributed to the one thing. But with a rebound, and optimistically, when everybody's back to work and back to where we were in that point of time where we could go to malls and shop, Aritzia has seen same-store sales, which is a key metric that you and I had spoken about several months ago when it came to retail, 5.1% up in the quarter. So it's their 21st straight quarter of same-store sales growth, which is a key catalyst for any retailer.
And you mentioned back to work, also back to school. Obviously, Aritzia going to be popular with the school kids. Hopefully, we get kids back in schools at some point this year. If not, might be waiting through till next year. So a little bit of a tie to that end of things as well with Aritzia. Let's go to Canadian Tire. There was news this week on Canadian Tire as they were removed, Raheem, from that essential services list. A lot of people obviously kind of not rely on Canadian Tire, but do use it as a staple for much more than hardware, as it was, I guess, originally known for. There's lots of products at Canadian Tire.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us have been to a Canadian Tire in the last little while, given it's one of the probably 9 stores that are still open in Ontario. But there's another stock. If you look at their chart, between $67 and $157, trading 40% off at around $85. So it's a large, well-known company, large stores. They have 203 stores that they've had to close. And so now you have to go online, curbside pickup, things of that nature. The difference between, say, an Aritzia and a Canadian Tire is going back to your online point, in that Aritzia, if somebody wants an Aritzia dress, top, whatever it is, you can go online, you can order it. They're still going to maintain that level of exposure to the customer. However, Canadian Tire, you're buying things that are fairly generic that you can get at a few other places. So they're competing with the likes of your Home Depots, your Walmarts, and companies in that sphere. So you are going to see potentially some pushback when, again, things return to normalcy. Will they be able to get back to the $120, $150 level? It's tough to say. They do have some access to their real estate portfolio, and they've been a company that has continued to pay a dividend, which is very important for sort of your long-term investors that look at that dividend yield. They're still at about a 5.3% dividend yield, which makes them attractive to people that are looking for that cash clip.
And there is I did note when I was reading that story the other day, there is the automotive angle to this as well, where we saw, car dealerships able to stay open because of the service aspect, people needing, obviously, to service their vehicle. I think Canadian Tire also falling in that category. So as far as the service center goes, still open, but the retail store, not so much. Sleep Country, the next one here we want to talk about. I mean, this in this I guess environment, not a lot of people out shopping for mattresses these days. Probably the last thing on anyone's mind at this point.
No, you're 100% correct, but it's one of those names that people have looked to as the Canadian staples of retail names. It's one of those ones that continues to pop up on people's radar simply because they do have the dominant position, and that's probably more of a elastic good versus an inelastic good. But again, a stock that's gone between $7.75 and $22. Dominant position in Canada. They are the go-to for all things related to sleep. They have tried to bifurcate their revenue sources by looking at the online angle. They bought a company called Endy last year, where they could grow their e-commerce platform. So there are some people that actually just do buy mattresses online, and they're hoping that sort of can continue. They are looking at new products, which they're hoping for. And, if you look at sort of their numbers, again, being a dominant player in Canadian space, you're generating $210 million in revenue in the quarter. They're 12 times earnings, got an EPS of 60 cents, and they're paying a dividend. So For the longer term players that fully believe when Canada's back to normal that people will buy mattresses, that's a name that you might want to look at for exposure to sleep, I guess, which we all need.
Yeah, probably more so than we realize, especially nowadays.
More on our mattresses being at home this last couple of weeks.
Right, exactly. Dollarama, the next one here, Raheem, obviously a bit of a staple in the Canadian marketplace as far as go-to in the dollar store marketplace. I mean, there's one of these basically on every corner in Toronto, it seems like. But what do you think about Dollarama here?
Yeah, this is a name I think you and I touched on several months back with respect to the retail space. It's just an inelastic company. No matter what happens, you're going to need to buy a gift card. You're going to need to buy, in this world, toilet paper, paper towels, things like that. It's proven to be an essential service as you look at sort of malls and stores. It's one of the ones that's still allowed to be open because it does provide that level of essentialness. So it's a company that, if you look at their share price again, has stayed within its range between $34 and $52 this year. It's trading around 40. 12.5 billion market cap, 1 million shares a day traded. So it's a company that people continue to go to in these times, in times before this, and in times after this. They'll say in some level of stableness. They probably won't obviously have the same level of sales that they have seen. However, versus other retailers that have had to close, they're one of the few that are still open. And they've continued from what they've said to stick to what they're looking to do, which is to have 400 stores, an additional 400 stores open in the next 5 years. So for a country of Canada's, what we're 35 million people, and you have a 12.5 billion market cap, that is fairly impressive. Their net income has continued to grow. They've got a compound annual growth rate over, I think it's 20% over the last about 7-8 years. And then interestingly enough, they are going into Central America. They've made an acquisition there to increase their exposure. They bought 50% interest. So in times like this, I think no matter what, people are still going to need those staples. And it's one that's far more inelastic than an Aritzia or a Canadian Tire.
And you mentioned it there, big time relative strength. Obviously, we saw some of the moves on those charts to the downside with the retailers. I mean, yes, Dollarama a retailer, but nowhere near as big a move down as even the rest of the market had. So a nice look for Dollarama. The next one also, a big time Canadian tie with Roots, the retailer.
Yeah, and again, I think that sort of it ties back. It's sort of a blend between your Canadian Tire story that we just spoke about and your Aritzia angle. So Canadian staple Roots, look at their chart. They've gone between 62 cents and 450, 475. They're 58% off of their highs. Now, the problem with a Roots is, again, touching on your online point at the beginning, they don't have as big a online demand as, say, an Aritzia. So somebody wants to buy a top, a dress, or whatever it is during this time, they'll probably go to Aritzia.com and purchase that. Less so with Roots. There aren't a lot of people that are going out to buy Roots sweaters at a time like this. So that's the first thing that they're going to have issues with, because they don't have a large online presence from that point of view. In addition, their stocks come off some of their highs after Q3 because they reported a loss of $9.7 million versus $4.1 million year over year. So a decrease in store traffic prior to this, and not a large new product offering prior to this, and then you combat this with what's happening, they look to be one of those companies that might have a harder time coming back after this. They may have to look at things like store closures or bringing expenses down to get in line with where they were at a different valuation level. They are Canada dominant, as we do know. There's 116 stores here in Canada, a handful in the US. Interestingly, they do have a partnership in Asia with 115 stores in Taiwan and 8 in China. So hopefully those can add some positivity to the financials when, again, things open up. But they are one that you should look at, or one that someone might look at as being in a bit more trouble relative to some of the other ones with a better online presence.
I want to make sure we get to some of the energy companies here, Raheem. Let's, Leon's we had on the list as well. I think similar to Sleep Country, not a lot of people looking for a new couch at this point. Bigger and better things to worry about, so self-explanatory there. Let's go down to Enbridge. Obviously, the oil market specifically heavily tied to the Canadian economy. Enbridge, has come off significantly, but seeing a nice bounce back here with crude oil prices.
Yes. So just with where crude oil prices are going, I'm sure you guys have talked waxed poetic about that, and a lot of announcements that are coming with respect to what Saudi Arabia and Russia are going to be doing, and the big OPEC Plus meeting that's happening Thursday, and then in addition to the G20 meeting that's being called for energy people on Friday. So we'll see how some of these stocks rally around what the decisions that are made around the price of oil. Enbridge has been more of a stable, so it hasn't seen its stock get hit as bad. It's traded between $33 and $57. It's stayed at around 40. So it is off its highs, of course, but it's still one of the Canadian staples. They've got a liquids pipeline that generates 50+% of its EBITDA. They've got take or pay contracts. 90% of revenue comes from refiners and integrated products. They've got a gas transmission product that provides them 29% of their EBITDA. So it's one of the ones that are a little bit more secure and not directly tied to the price of oil. So it's one that's probably held in better than some of the other ones that will that you'll see on some of the trader screens, I'm sure.
All right, the next one here, Suncor. Obviously, you talk about Enbridge. I guess you have to mention Suncor in that same sentence, more or less. Another one that's seen a bit of a bounce back with the price for crude, but still kind of struggling overall.
Yeah, no, I think that is, you're exactly right. Again, something that's traded between 14 and 46, hung in around 24 bucks, obviously down close to 50% off its highs, but much more reliable against the price of oil. They're looking at about 116,000 barrels of oil per day equivalent versus 90,000. So, hanging in-ish. They are a company that does produce dividends. They've got net income. Their net income is down, obviously, against last year, where they did $3.3 billion in 2018. They are at about 2019's net income was about $2.9 billion. But they have contributed to dividends and buybacks, where they spent about $4.9 billion. And they've got a PE of over 11. So it's one of those ones that's a little bit more stable relative to the fluctuating price of oil. But it's definitely one that trades well. I think it's over 8 million shares, 9 million shares a day that it trades. So it's a very active name as well, if you like the oil space.
Canadian Natural Resources has seen a nice little move back to the upside. It was in fact kind of leading this group, I think, back to the upside over the past couple of sessions and days with the price for crude oil bouncing back. CNQ, another big one. I want to make sure we get to one that's a little bit lower priced. I want to talk about MEG Energy a little bit for anyone who likes to trade the lower priced one. What do you think about MEG Energy?
So I'm sure that showed up on everyone's charts as being one of the most active here in Canada. MEG's traded between $1.13 and $8 over the course of the year. It's sitting at $2.70-ish. Trades millions of shares a day. The thing that's interesting with MEG and that people seem to like is the fact that they've got 70% of their first half year's production hedged at $59, which is significantly better than where current oil prices are. They've got a 68-year reserve, so they're someone that's going to be around for a long time. Prices people have targets on MEG getting back into the $4 range. If oil gets anywhere back to where we were at about $60, then people are thinking $9. What makes MEG a little bit even more interesting is the fact they've got a massive tax loss pool. So if you take into account the fact they've got a hedge book, they've got a tax loss pool, they could be a takeout target when things sort of maybe look to get back to normalcy, whatever normalcy looks like. They could be something that's well positioned for a takeout. The downside on them is they've got on their flagship asset, they've got about $3 billion of debt there. And they're operating at a loss with current prices, so that does put them in a precarious position on how their credit facilities are managed, because that $3 billion is 3 times the EBITDA. So at these prices, you definitely want them to be conservative, but we'll see where they go. So that's why I think a lot of people are piling into the name, good or bad, on short or long, but they are looking at MEG as sort of a conduit on the price of oil and the small cap name.
And we're seeing that nice, a nice 11% bump just on that name today alone, even with crude up just slightly. I think it's around 2% at this point. Speaking of small caps, I want to make sure we get at least a couple of these small cap names with ties to the COVID-19 outbreak that are moving obviously significantly higher. Tell us about the first one here, Relevium Technologies. I took a shot. This is on the Venture Exchange, right?
It is.
Okay, good.
So Relivium, the last couple of days has been, I think it's, if not the most, one of the most active on the venture. They're into health, wellness, skin, fitness, all of those things. But the big catalyst was they had a small deal to a company in Saudi Arabia for $1 million purchase order in March. That started to get some positive traction. But the big thing was their hand sanitizer product, Biogenics. They got pre-orders started. They just announced that. And the stock's gone from a penny or 2 pennies to somewhere around 6 or 7 cents now, trading 12, 13 million shares a day. So, anyone that's being positively affected by this, that's great. They're providing a solution that the world's going to need. They are also donating some of their hand sand products to Montreal. That's been, again, hard hit. That's their local community. So it's good to see the company giving back, but also taking advantage of the fact they've got a product that the world needs right now.
You mentioned 2 other small caps here. Maybe pick one of them here, Raheem. Sona Nanotech. We'll talk about that real quick.
Yeah, again, look at their stock chart. It's gone from a penny to $2.22. The last month has seen it double. Prior to that, it had doubled again. The big thing was they had a manufacturing of test kits. They had 2 million test kits purchased by a G20 country. They're manufacturing these test kits in Europe, and just recently got a $4.1 million grant for further COVID test kits. So in the last week, I believe, I had looked at it at about $1, and I thought it was sort of interesting at 90 cents, $1, $1.10, I think it was. And then I thought the news had sort of carried it, and it was sitting at $1.10. And now I believe yesterday when I looked at it last night, it was somewhere north of $2. So it's a name that's, again, providing a solution that people in the world are going to need at present. And it's carried the stock to a nice return if you got in then. And I think it's still one that's going to continue to trade if it gets more news out surrounding its test kits.
Yeah, we've seen obviously crazy moves south of the border with these names, small cap names specifically, that have any kind of tie to this virus outbreak. So obviously opportunities in the Canadian landscape as well when it comes to COVID-19. Raheem Alani, OCI Group's always a pleasure, sir. We'll speak to you again real soon.
And yeah, hopefully next time we'll do it in studio.
Absolutely. Good to speak to you.
All right, guys, stay safe.
There you go, guys. Raheem Alani from OCI Group's giving you a little bit of insight into some of the names that we look at on a regular basis here in the Canadian marketplace, and some small caps at the end there. Hope you enjoyed that with Raheem. Some small caps obviously tied to the COVID-19 outbreak. Let's go back to the guys.
Where else can you get exciting markets, live trading, fantastic guests? I mean, Raheem has been on many times. We love it when he drops his knowledge of the markets and some names and some markets that we're not always looking at here, guys. And I'm going to update a few things here. I know it's 12 o'clock and we're going to get out of here. Of course, the market's still going and we're still above that 2,700s. Have some longs on. Fives are still working up for us. As this Peloton to the long side, you can see that down. But YGYI halted to the downside. I took the opportunity on the reopen to just take it out for a 10-cent hit. I was going to originally risk 20 pennies, but once it halts to the downside, I'm just going to jump out of there and take half the hit there. We made 10 cents a couple of times on the upside. We'll lose 10 cents and go 2 for 3. But I just have fives drawn, 34.20. That's 25 cents in the money. Looking for that nice little run. It's made a nice little base there. Also, we got that Peloton and that 27.27 break. Looking for a run at 28. 26.85 is my stop. But Valeria has some final words for us here before we get out of here.
Hey guys, I would like to say thank you for all of your activity today, for joining us, for all of your comments and questions. I promise we'll be getting better with each day. Well, we're live every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe for our channel so you receive notifications when we are on. And also thank you very much for all of your likes. And if you didn't hit the thumb button, please hit the thumbs now. And I sent you the link on the chat. So right after the end of the stream, hit the link and we'll continue to trade the noon heading into the close and chat about everything we want. And as usual, guys, I'm saying what national day is today. Today is the National Beer Day. Here's one interesting fact. Some analysts say that beer is the third most popular drink on earth after water and tea. What do you think about beer, guys?
Not coffee?
No.
Okay.
beer.
I mean, nothing wrong with a good beer. I mean, you get pickier as you get older, I think. But ultimately, nothing wrong with that. I'm a little bit surprised that coffee doesn't make that list as number 3, but I'm sure it's number 4. Look, it's past 12 o'clock here, guys. It's been a fantastic morning. As always, just look, make sure you follow along here. Follow us on Twitter, and we can throw our handles on there for you. We still trade live throughout the day, and you want to tune in at 9 o'clock so we can get that preparation as well. Know which stocks you want to look at. That's what it's all about here, guys. Before we throw out of here, any final words there, Sean?
No, not much, except for what the hell happened to Disney? I mean, we were long down here, 102.80. We got out ahead of VWAP and thought we were doing pretty good here, but now, yeah, wow, big time blow to the top side. Disney up 5%. No, yeah, look, there's been big moves happening at the close every day, so watch out for that again today. We'll be trading. We're back here tomorrow. Hit the likes, hit the subscribe. Check out our guests on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. We're posting that, and once again, guys, thank you for everything today, and like I keep saying, we'll be back tomorrow.
100%. And like the only bad thing about this week so far is that it's a short week because it's going to be Good Friday for us on Friday. So, you know, U.S. markets closed. We will not be here. We'll be back every day that the market is open. For the entire team here, you see Valeria doing a fantastic job as a chat maestro on there. Make sure you throw questions all the time. Chat with us. We're going to be on there live all the time. And Brendan Wickens at the desk, our good friend, doing a fantastic job. And a shout out and a thanks to Rahim Alani coming on, our guest of the day. And as always, for Sean Katina and myself, Neil Roberts, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is tradertv.live, and we will see you tomorrow. We also didn't tell them to stick it to 2.5%.